Reader Mail.
Number 14. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reader Mail number 13. 14. We just said 14. I can't believe I did that. For those that don't know, we are Triangle Squared, a PlayStation podcast. My name is Saul Bridges. Followed along with me is
Brett Beck.
And this is our normal every other Friday episode of Reader Mail, where we ask you guys to ask us questions on Twitter, Discord, and Facebook. We do have a Facebook group, Triangle Squared, a PlayStation podcast. If you are a Facebook user, I'm not, but go ahead and join it. You'll find Brett among other users there as well. And of course, you can catch our normal episodes of Triangle Squared every Monday at 10 a.m. PST, noon Central Time across YouTube and all of its podcast platforms. If you find a podcast platform we're not on and you like it, let us know. We'll try to get on that one as well. And just another little disclaimer is that Reader Mail is a little bit more on the adult-friendly side compared to our more professional, laid-back selves on Triangle Squared. So there will be some cursing, mildly, of course, and just, you know, some potentially dirty jokes. So if you're watching with children, we advise you to don't.
Stop immediately.
Yeah, unless you're cool, a cool parent, then that's cool too. But let's get in this. We start off every episode going through Twitter, Facebook, and then finishing it off with Discord.
Facebook, Twitter, Discord, but that's
Facebook,
okay.
Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Okay, whatever. Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and
you were just repeating it to yourself over there a second ago. Just
I know. But for those that aren't aware, we do take questions in 2-week intervals, and if you ask us a question and you don't hear an answer, don't fret, don't frown, don't worry. It'll be in episode 15. So, Brett, why don't you start us off with Facebook?
All right, on Facebook, Mr. Josh Shoop asked us, "What would you do?" For a Klondike bar, I'm kidding. What would you do if you suddenly had $1 billion fall into your laps? Would you be the types to give to charity, give money to friends? How would you go about dispersing this empire of money? Fun question.
That's a lot of money too. It's pretty easy for me to answer because I've actually fantasized about stuff like this before. Since I
fantasize about being a millionaire.
Yeah, I hate my job, but so what I would do is I would buy a nice house in a nice neighborhood in probably Fort Worth, and then I would buy a top floor condo in downtown Dallas, or a condominium. You can't really. I'm not gonna buy a whole condo building, but I'm gonna buy like myself and my wife a condo building and a nice house. And honestly, I like my car. I'll pay my car off. I'll buy Annie a new car, and then from then on out, it will be simple as helping friends and family get to places in life that they wish they could have gotten to that they couldn't have or they haven't yet. And then I would give a considerable amount to charity because I feel like that's just the right non-selfish thing to do. And I can't imagine spending all of that money in a lifetime. So there's that. I would probably invest smartly with it as well. I would definitely hire an accountant and a financial advisor to tell me where to invest and certain stuff like that just to make sure I'm set for life. And once I'm set for life, I will kind of deck out my house and my condo with stuff that I love. New video game setups with a brand new gaming PC, stuff like that. Expensive stuff that, I could typically have in real life and just that takes longer to get, but I could instantly have it. And then I would probably then just focus on Twitch streaming for fun. I don't even care if I got like 3 viewers. It would just be something to do. And my laptop just died, so I definitely can't answer Twitter questions for a while. But
well, hopefully by the time we get through the Facebook, I can let you bum my charger.
Yeah, that would work. But so I've thought about this, and I do say Dallas and Fort Worth and nowhere else because honestly, I like Dallas and Fort Worth a lot. It's one of my favorite places to go.
Is it somehow? Is it a little bit related to family being there too?
I mean, that's a big bonus, yeah.
Yeah.
But, it's a fun place to go. There's always stuff there to do compared to here. And you have $1 billion. Like even after all this and giving and helping, I would still have hundreds of millions of dollars. If I wanted to take a vacation down to California, it's not going to hurt me. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that's just one of the things that I have planned, and I actually thought about this question, but like if I won the lottery, like the mega billions or whatever it's called, but I don't play the lottery, so that's obviously a dream. But Brett, what about you?
I love that long running thing where people will like, but what if I win the lottery? I'm like, have you ever played the lottery? Well, no. Then you are literally skipping out on the first step that it takes to even be in the realm of what if you won the lottery.
I can't wait until I make the steak. Oh, you can't cook? Nope. How are you gonna make the steak? I don't know. The steak's gonna be good though. No, it's not.
So, but
not going to be good steak.
Mine's similar in this. My starting point would be that $1 billion is a ton of money. It truly is.
It's more than you would ever need in your lifetime.
But part of the way that I would be smart about doing it is I would not just burn through the $1 billion with not much to show for it. I mean, yeah, when you buy land and property and things like that, they become assets and they do have a value, but like cars and stuff like that, more often than not, your value is going to tank immensely.
Yeah, like when you buy a new car, drive it off the lot, the
Exactly.
second that tire hits
It's
fresh
depreciated.
road, it's 40% less value, roughly. But and that's why I said I would stick with my car, pay it off,
Sure,
and then buy
sure.
a new car, and not get like a Ferrari or something. I don't want to show my wealth. That's not a thing I like. I don't like showing off wealth.
Okay, I'm not going to show off my wealth because this is not a ridiculous car. This is what I should say. I would probably keep my car that I have right now just to have it. I would buy an actual truck that is in better shape than the one I have,
Like a Ford
just
Raptor.
for posterity's sake.
Get a Ford Raptor.
No, that's $100,000 depending on what you want.
No, you can definitely get a Ford Raptor for like 80 grand.
Yeah, that's just starting point.
Yeah.
But my point is, in general,
how many hundreds of thousands of dollars is $1 billion? Isn't it like
I get that, but listen, my
1
point
million?
being is that you just said you don't want to show your wealth. Buying a Raptor is the
that's not
epitome of
showing
showing
your wealth?
your
There's
wealth.
so many Raptors around this town, and this is not a wealthy town.
Okay, I hate to tell you that I know two of the people that have Raptors in this town, and they are both essentially nearing millionaire status right now.
I'm sure they are, but I'm just saying that like
That's money, boy.
I think of showing your wealth like maybe from a truck side of things, which I don't really care about, sure, but like I'm thinking of like Ferraris.
Look, I'll give you this. My
Bentleys.
boss, the person who owns the company I work for, it's a family company. He is a man who is the perfection of not showing your wealth in any kind of visible way. It's more of perceivable ways in the community and stuff like that. But he drives up until now. He finally bought a new, but it was still just a Ford Expedition, a pretty normal car that a lot of people end up getting. But he drove a Ford Excursion, a gold 2003 Ford Excursion, since he bought it in 2003, brand new, and it looked exactly like he did when he bought it brand new. He has the people at the wash bay where I work clean it for him. He keeps it in immense condition. So he had that for a long time. That's be my kind of thing. I'd buy a truck brand new that's relatively normal. I might even buy a Ford Ranger, something on the smaller side that I like a little bit.
It's 100. It's a 1 million times 1,000.
Okay. Either way.
$1 billion. I said 100,000 times.
Oh,
a
okay.
million,
Yes,
a
yeah, I
million.
got you. But anyway, so I'd either pay my car off and buy a truck, or I might sell my car because the one thing I've always wanted is the truck could be something I use to carry around Kyrie and everything in, and then also be a truck. But I've always wanted, and I'm really kicking myself for not getting it when I had to. And it's partially because I was trying to be like, the third door does give the benefit of having room for a child later. But I've always wanted, at the time, it was a Scion FRS. Scion's gone under. So now it's either getting a Subaru BRZ, which I also love. They
Or
just
a
have a different
GTR.
on the front, or the Toyota 86. So they're all three the same cars. Now, I
thought you were gonna
would
say GTR.
also love a Nissan GTR. They're beautiful, but they're also in the $80,000 range. Whereas I could get a car that I think looks beautiful and drives fantastically because I've driven an FRS, and they're beautiful cars. I love them to death. I'd get a Subi, just get it.
But how much like okay, so like showing
That's like a
I guess that's
$35,000 car.
Well, that's a good, I
$40,000.
guess that's a good conversation though. Is that like how much is showing too much wealth? Because I don't think an $80,000 truck, like you see Escalades running around with grandmas driving them that are $80,000, and
Yeah.
I don't think of them as wealthy. I'm like, oh, that's a very typical thing to see.
Yeah.
So like, I
It's
don't
people
think,
who are smart with their retirement,
Yeah.
typically. But look,
or no,
that,
it's just people who are too old. They know they're going to die. They don't care about taking out a car loan.
there's that too. But okay, look, leading to the main point of it is that how are you going to keep getting money coming in so that you can do
Investments.
not necessarily the extravagant things, but yeah, the one thing I've learned about investments is that you got to be really careful about who you trust because there's
Financial
tons of
advisors
people
and a personal
who
lawyer.
steal money.
That's why you get those two. That's what I said: a financial advisor and a personal lawyer.
What I would probably do is do the similar thing, but have it to where it's a financial advisor who has no control over my account. All they do,
No, of course
is
not.
I pay them money
To tell you
and
what to do
all
with
they
your
do
money.
is say,
Do
this
this.
stock is looking really good right now. You should probably get in at the ground floor, and then I go, okay,
Or
and
this.
I do it,
Yeah.
not them do it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I meant. Like I'm not going to give somebody money and then
Well,
like
you know, you heard the story of Dane Cook's brother like stealing all of his
Yeah,
money, right?
yeah.
So it's stuff like
I
that
don't
that
trust.
makes
I won't
you.
trust anybody in my life with like that.
That's what's crazy. It's like even family, you know? It's like
Yeah.
you just got to be careful. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to give my family money, but I'm not going to give them all of my money
There was, like,
access. So
There was somebody who won the lottery, or his wife won the lottery and then divorced her husband because she won the lottery, and then the judge made her pay the husband out. Just like, you're not gonna do that. That's stupid. Like, y'all are married. Like you won it while you're married. You're gonna pay him out.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
It's like you can't like trust anybody. But
Anyway, going back to the heart of it, yeah, I do that, but really my investments would probably be, I do a little bit like that and control it all, but I would do probably more local investments wherever I end up. I would guaranteed keep this house, and I would I'd honestly, it sounds kind of weird to say, I would for the most part recreate it exactly as it originally looked, but in immaculate shape.
Oh, I thought you were going to say in a different location.
No.
Okay.
I love this house
too.
and where it's at, and this is a great neighborhood. I would probably keep this house. I might let family stay in it because realistically, I could afford if they mess it up within reason. It'd be fine. But it's just important. If I come to Texarkana to visit, if I do end up moving away, I have this place to stay.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or if I end up staying in Texarkana because it's good cost of living or whatever, and I have the money to easily fly to Dallas if I wanted to or whatever, fly anywhere from here if I really wanted to.
Yeah. Too bad that like our airport here sucks.
It's about to be expanding.
Still gonna suck.
We'll see. It's gonna have
unless they're gonna bring us new planes.
They're gonna have better terminals, new terminals, more terminals, and new planes that are able to. Because part of the limitations we have is our terminal size.
Yeah, but
it cannot hold certain planes.
I hear a lot of the main concern from our airport is the plane size and the rigidness of the planes.
Yeah, but anyway. To finish up the answer, yeah, I would probably do like rental homes wherever I'm at, and then just pay somebody to be the rental home kind of head where he goes around, does all the maintenance work or schedules it, essentially collects the rent, puts it in there, and then I just pay him off of that. Or the rent goes directly to me, and I just pay him a lot to do that so that I don't have to think about it. That's a good net positive. You get assets and houses. You get money coming in every month. You give people housing. I wouldn't even gouge for pricing. I would make sure I'm making a profit because that's just smart, but it wouldn't be drastic, and it'd be a benefit to be able to help people. I might even actually do it at cost if I can afford it, because you're essentially breaking even, and I still have the asset of the house. You could definitely
afford it at $1 billion.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I'm assuming this question is $1 billion after taxes.
I would help my friends very much like him. I would do the things I've always dreamed of. I would get back into doing music probably because I wouldn't have to work. I'd have free time. I'd do music, and I would also balance this like we've always wanted to, and kind of do a balance of the two, and hit this full on. Let Saul and I really try and live this dream out and see how far we could take it when we're not worried about being anchored down by work. And that would be great, and other familial, commitments or whatever that you have to worry about. But and I would definitely, I'd buy, even the people in my family who probably don't deserve it, I'd give them the best one up I could. I wouldn't give them money. I would say, here's a house that's paid off, and it's going to be modest. Like for my sister, I'd be like, look,
here's a one bedroom, half bathroom.
So that you have a family. Here's a 2 or 3 bedroom house with 1 or 2 baths. That's modest. That's a $70,000 to $80,000 house. It's paid off. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Here's a car, brand new. It's safe for you and your daughter, but it's again a Honda Accord.
Hyundai. No. Screw that. We're a Hyundai family.
We are a Hyundai family. But either way, my point is modest car. Do that. Give Trace a decent place to live as well. Do my mom good. Get them everything that they want. Set them up to where, within reason, all they have to do is work bare minimum to make sure they can cover their bills. Houses are paid off. All they have to do is kind of cover electricity bills, monthly things, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but
I would give to...
Other big issue with that kind of thing is taxes. Making sure they can afford the taxes of the home.
But if the house, like my mom's house, I could just pay her house off and then expand it, and she's fine.
Yeah.
And same with Trace and Alyssa. They can, like, this is a pretty good size house, and I can afford the taxes on this easily.
Yeah.
So when you look at it like that, like my taxes on this every year, $340.
And that's the thing too, is I'm not a very fancy person. Like I don't need extravagancies. The one thing I will want in a new house or condo or whatever it would be is a bathtub that could fit myself while laying down.
True.
Like I would treat myself in ways like that where it's not like I'm gonna make sure I eat caviar and lobster every day. No, I'm still probably going to go down to Wendy's and get Wendy's. Or at that point, I'll probably hire a personal assistant, which would be one of my friends who would fly to Texarkana and get me Fuji's sushi.
No, there you go. There you go. So there's that. And then you get to help the community you came from. Be like, I'm going to hook them up, give that business some more money.
Too bad that there's not a lot of businesses here that actually I feel that way towards.
There's a couple. I would definitely, Ironwood has got my back. I love them. I would come back to eat Ironwood. I'd make sure they get some money here and there.
I think Ironwood is like one of the only ones.
But here's my big one. You ready? So, of course, I'd give the charity. And part of the reason I would do investments is so I can continuously give the charity. And I wouldn't dump too much money into one charity. I'd give a large sum to one charity that I know and I understand how it works. I'd look into it. And then every year or so, I'd look at one charity that I really want to help and just give them a good lump sum. Like, $1 million to this charity, $1 million to this charity, and as long as I have revenue coming back in, I keep having money. I'm not living an extravagant life because I don't want that either. The thing about $1 billion is that it wouldn't buy me all these weird niceties that I'd have to be concerned about. I would treat myself a little bit, but for the most part, it's about the freedom that money gives you to live your life the way that you see fit.
Yeah.
Not from a level of status standpoint, but from me being able to be happy about the things that I'm doing with my time. I wouldn't care about that.
I wouldn't if I got famous on Twitch or whatever, just because I would Twitch stream on most days, so be it. But I'm not shooting for that.
But that's not
I'm
what
just
you're
trying to be comfortable. Yeah.
And you're trying to feel like you're getting to do everyday things that you love to do.
Yeah. You want to come see me start over Dark Souls Remastered 10 times in 2 days just to find out the perfect min-max for a build, then you'll love me on Twitch.
My biggest one, though, and then I'll end this, is by state downtown, you have to know where Texarkana's at. We're a twin city. And because of that, our downtown sucks in comparison to most cities because they've really butchered the way a downtown should work. In front of the entire reason that our city exists, which is we are 3 states kind of really close to each other, and that's why the name of the city is Texarkana. It's Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana.
Yeah. And no, we're not all the same state. I swear to God, there's people that think that.
Oh, yeah, no, we're not.
And people think that if you're in Texas, it's it doesn't matter. We're in Texarkana. I'm in Texas and Arkansas, right? When laws matter, when people try to buy beer on Sundays, they're like, I'm in Texarkana. It's both. No, it's not, you idiot.
There's still state laws.
Yeah. You're literally in the state of Arkansas.
But anyway, when you're looking at all that, the way that they did downtown is right on the state line. They built in the 80s this really hideous building that doesn't fit the rest of the architecture of downtown at all. And they built it directly, and I mean directly, on the opposite side of the street of Union Station, which is the entire reason the city exists.
It's about Bi-State?
Yes,
it's not an ugly building.
It's dude, hold on. It's ugly in context to where it's at. It does not match downtown at all.
Well, it's because
it's 80s style architecture.
Well, it's been nothing else in downtown has ever been renovated from the 60s.
Well, it's not about renovation. Downtown, when you go to Hot Springs downtown, everything still looks of its time period, but nice.
Well, Bi-State's you get what I'm saying? A prison.
Oh, I get that, but why would you build that when you have ample places right in front of what should be our main historical and tourist attraction?
But I'm just saying it's a prison. That's why they don't care about how it looks.
No, but they should. And if you're going to do that,
it's like a courthouse prison area.
Arkansas is completely backed out of it. So really, Arkansas has their own courthouse, which is old style, and I actually like the way it looks. It needs renovation, but it's a beautiful looking building, and it matches downtown.
There's a smell that gives me nostalgia from that courthouse, and I don't know why.
Anyway, I would tear down Bi-State. I'd buy the lot, make a park directly in front of Union Station, fix Union Station up, make it a historical place and a tourist attraction.
You wouldn't be able to buy that property. It's government owned.
Oh, if I promise, I could guarantee.
Nothing in this town's worth that much money.
More importantly, Texas is actually trying to get out of owning all their property because that puts all of, and I only know this because of the business that I'm in and some of the customers I have. Texas does not want to own anything if they can get out from under it. They're trying. So what their plan is to sell everything and then just rent the building, because that means every time that it comes down to things like fixing leaking roofs or anything like that, or if you need a full roof replacement or full air conditioning replacement, you don't have to pay that. That is really strenuous on the tax money because you never know when it's going to happen, and it completely ruins your budget. But if you're leasing a place, the leasing price already has that handled, so when those things come up, they don't affect your state budget at all. So Texas is actually actively trying to get out of owning any building that they're in. They do not want to own it. They want to lease it, which is actually smart.
Weird, yeah.
So again, I would be able to probably do this without any real problem. I'd make it a park.
Know that.
Yeah, I'd make it a park, and I would pay for a new building to be built up or whatever. That would be like my contribution. It's like, look, I understand what this is, but we're going to tear it down. We're going to be smart with what we're doing with downtown from here forward, and we're going to build this somewhere that makes a lot more sense. Definitely, since it's only Texas now, build it on Texas side.
I do think there's an inherent problem with the poverty in our town. It's not very poor, but it's just we have a homeless problem.
Every city does.
Yeah, similar to San Francisco and stuff like that. Where
I won't say similar. Just to clarify, there are not homeless people crapping in the street across the entire town to where you have to.
It happens.
It happens.
That's not dog poop I saw.
There is not a need for an app to tell you where people have pooped and peed. When I went to this is a perfect example.
That's true.
Have you ever been walking downtown or anywhere in this city and smelled a breeze of strong pee just come across you once every 5 minutes?
Yeah, actually. That when we would go explore downtown
every single day.
No, well, not every day. You said when downtown, I'm downtown
Oh,
every single day.
but I mean, is every 5 minutes you smell this.
I'm not outside that much.
Okay,
so.
because this is exactly what was going on in San Francisco.
Yeah,
Anywhere we were going,
specific parts of San Francisco. That's not all of San Francisco.
dude, most of San Francisco.
Do you know that
it was pretty? I loved it.
Human waste engineers or whatever they're called that pick up the stuff
Make tons of money.
Dude, they make like $100 grand a year.
I know. It's crazy.
Sign me up.
Anyway, that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
great question, Josh.
Very comfortable life, helping out friends and family.
Yep. All right, let's see. Danny Candyman Villalobos. I think that's how you say that. Let me know if it's not. With the last minute changes to the PS Plus games of us getting Detroit instead of the soccer game, would it be a good idea to bring back the voting system that they tested out a few years ago? We actually, I think, ended up inadvertently talking about this.
We did kind of answer this question. But yeah, like I think it's a very double-edged sword. If you bring it in, it's going to be impossible to take away again because this would be the second attempt. Also, it encourages people to bot vote stuff where they'll just sign up bots or macros to vote for the game they want. And it could win by landslide.
That seems like an easy thing to do. You have to be a PS Plus member and you have to be signed in. When they did it before, you had to be signed into your PS Plus account. You had to be signed into your PlayStation Network account.
Yeah.
You had to be verified that you were a PS Plus member, and then you could vote.
Well, even
so there's already a system of checks that help. It doesn't mean that it won't be able to be abused at all, but it won't be able to be abused like a Twitter poll would be.
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to get a free trial, but I'm saying this is a very small percent of people that will do this, but it's possible. But yeah, I'm all for
it. Yeah. One thing I like about what Josh said, and I do agree, is that it would separate them from the competition, and that's true. Xbox does not let you do this. They get criticized occasionally for their games as well. Nintendo is in very early stages, so I don't know if it's fair to give them anywhere in this right now.
Something is happening with Nintendo soon, and I don't remember what it was, but I saw it on Twitter, and I want to say it's kind of similar to this, but
that'd be great.
I don't remember.
Nintendo
My brain has been mushed the past 3 days.
Tons of games that they own from the NES and SNES era that are easy for them to pull up. And if they want to continue to extend that and go into the GameCube or the 64 on the Switch, there's a million games that they own that they could totally do this with. So I think it's smart. And then they could also work with third parties.
There has to be some kind of reasoning behind them that why we don't have that yet. That would literally probably make them one of the top grossing video game companies of all time in like 2 years. I think
so too. But apparently part of it is that they didn't do it early on because they did it at launch with the Wii U. And apparently it came at the detriment of people buying actually Wii U games because instead of buying a new game that they've never played before, everybody's like, I'm going to spend my money on this game I've played a million times, but I know I love it. So it's like a danger. The
Wii U library was also pretty poor, where the Switch library now, a year later, is getting ridiculously good.
But there were gems on the Wii U. So when you look at it in that sense, it's like people weren't even buying the gems because it was just kind of like...
Skyward Sword wasn't even a launch game for that game, was it?
Skyward Sword was a Wii game.
Not Skyward Sword. What is the Wii U Zelda game? Oh, there's not one. Okay.
Well, I mean, there is. It's Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm talking about for, yeah.
Yeah, no, the first Zelda game that hit the console was...
Breath of the Wild.
Not Breath of the Wild.
Well, technically.
It was... Well, I'm talking about the first Zelda game at all, be it remastered or whatever.
Well, it was Wind Waker,
Wind Waker HD. Which was pretty close to launch, actually.
I think that was a launch game. But no, I thought...
It wasn't launch, but it was close.
I thought for some reason not Twilight Princess.
I'm fairly positive.
Breath of the... Skyward Sword was a launch game. Then I realized I don't even think it's a launch game for the Wii.
No. Skyward Sword was a late
November.
game.
I remember I was working at Journeys, and my manager at Journeys and who she was married to, the collector's edition came out with the golden Wii controller.
Yes. Yeah.
And
with the little Triforce symbol.
Yeah, GameStop got one of them. And I was at work on a Friday night and we were slammed, and she was like, Saul, please go to GameStop, and not the one in the mall, the one here, like next to where we normally go. She's like, can you please go to GameStop? She gave me $100 bill, and she's like, keep this change. She's like, just please go get it now. And I had the worst sales numbers, and I was already doing poorly. And I was like, fine, whatever. I had the worst sales number for that day. I actually was the strongest salesman that year.
One crazy thing, and then we'll move off of that. Speaking of GameCube thing, I saw somebody who modded an original GameCube, and this is crazy. They modded a original GameCube to be a Nintendo Switch dock, where they cut the center, and you could put it in, and it had the 4 ports, but then it had 4 more ports that were exact matches to the GameCube controller soldered in underneath it, and it looked good.
It did. It didn't look like it was hacked into death.
No, it looked like Nintendo made it, and I was incredibly impressed.
Somebody, I can't remember if it was on Reddit or Twitter that I saw. The guy he said that if you want to buy this, it's going to cost $500 because it was such a pain in the ass to make. And people were like, well, don't say that seriously because you'll have about 100 orders by the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, next question comes from Mr. Josh Ayers, who is a patron, thank you. With E3 done and our fall somewhat visible, what's the top game for this fall for you both, and what will the industry like most? It's kind of hard to say. I'm being a little cautious about Astral Chain, as good as it looks.
Yeah, me too.
But Astral Chain is up there.
I want Astral Chain to be the game that I want. It's just I'm hoping it performs well, even if it has dips and stuff in it. It's a JRPG. Most of them do nowadays.
Yeah. Well, honestly, my expectation of it is that it runs and looks a lot better in handheld mode, since I will very, very likely be playing this on a Switch Lite. I don't see anything else happening. But I would hope that it looks and runs a lot better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2 did in handheld mode. That game, I swear to you, was 480p.
That game didn't look that bad. We've had that conversation before in a reader mail.
Don't get me wrong. The game was incredibly impressive for what it was for a handheld. And and when you look at it in that context, it's an achievement.
Maybe that's the way I'm thinking of it, because like it didn't look fantastic, but the fact that it could look fantastic on the couch or in the bed, like
it looked fantastic enough. And my thing is,
it was still a very pretty game.
It's very analogous to me to Gravity Rush. But they did it two different ways to get this look.
Well, Xenoblade Chronicles is also massive of hundreds of potential hours for the game.
I know. But they also went about doing these in two very different ways. Gravity Rush stayed at, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much the Vita's native resolution of 540p. But the way that it went about making sure that it continued to run well was that it chose the art style that they used with that cel-shaded look. They chose to make things in the distance render as just lines with no shading. So when you were looking off in the distance, you'd see like a city, the next city block floating, and you'd see the lines and curves of the building, but they would look like little pencil sketches. And it was awesome. And it was a great use of people going, how do we optimize while also making it a plus for the game? And I think that was a balance of the two. Whereas I think the Xenoblade Chronicles' biggest problem came in the fact that it wanted to have good draw distance and big scope and a really pretty world. And because of the art style they chose, they couldn't do this same thing. They couldn't do a balance of how do we optimize in a way that works good. So that means that you're forced to be able to pull these things off with no frame drops to render at a lower resolution. So no, we're wrong. They did a lot with that, but I would hope that this game learns from that. And because it's a smaller scale, it ends up looking a lot better.
Yeah. It had an adaptive resolution of 552.
Okay.
342p. 368p.
Good Lord.
368p. In some areas, they said that the 368 and 342 were incredibly rare to see, though.
So, is there an average FPS or FPS? Is there an average
552
resolution?
is what it looks like.
So definitely very sub-native.
Yeah. So
you know what? I'm gonna look. I wonder if Gravity Rush's information's there.
But it's still a very pretty game for those that have never seen it, and the size of the Switch, screen, does it fine. It's just. There's definitely some ugly parts in it. I say ugly. It does look poor, but it's not ugly. It's just bland. It's the best way for me to describe it.
Okay, so it looks as if, from everything that I can see, Gravity Rush ran at a slightly sub-native resolution, but not as low as that in comparison to what the native resolution should have been.
This comment just said it and I actually agree with this, and I'm almost fine with it. This game is so massive, but it looks like a 3DS game ported to Switch.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So
it's a little bit better.
The character models are way better than the 3DS character models.
But the rest of it feels like if you took the 3DS Pokemon games and just made them into a actual, whatever you want to call that, a more traditional JRPG.
And somebody said it gets better the further you go.
Like the optimization.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't look bad. And this is, remember, a compressed image on a phone screen. But
yeah, sure. Well, just for posterity's sake out there, Gravity Rush ran at 720 by 408 in comparison to the native resolution of 960 by 544. So it ran at, 130 something?
This is so far
pixels
off the main
under.
Question.
Yeah, it is. But either way. That's it. And I think if I'm going to go on PS4, because of sheer just wonder, I'm going to say it's a top game because it has me the most interested in not still knowing too much of what it is Death Stranding.
Yeah, Death Stranding is certainly a winter game, though. It's November, so it doesn't count.
Well, is November considered winter?
I can't
remember. Well, we do because of our weather cycle.
I still consider the last 2 months of the year winter because it's cold. Fall, to me, ends when November begins, even though I'm sure there's a technical
I'm actually curious.
Behind the first day of winter.
So winter starts Saturday, December 1st, December 21st.
You can't tell me that. I'm sure
we live
that's
in a
what
weird
the pilgrims
place.
think, but yeah, I don't think that.
Yeah. Okay, and one more question from this one before we scroll up to the next.
Sure.
Matthew Green, another patron, says, weirdest celebrity crush. Are celebrity crushes weird? I like the question. I'm just trying to understand, is this one of those things that comes into how much shame do you have? Because I don't have a lot.
I don't think I have a weird celebrity crush.
I mean, I have Emma Stone, my girl. Selena Gomez, also my girl.
Yeah, I agree.
So Scarlett Johansson, also my girl. Jessica Alba, also my girl. So I mean, it just depends. I don't really think of any of them as weird though.
Mine's Emilia Clarke.
Oh, Emilia Clarke, yeah. She is pretty.
What's that girl's name from Doctor Who?
The new Doctor?
No.
I must say, because I don't watch Doctor Who anyway, so I don't know the answer.
I'm pretty sure the new Doctor's like 50 something, but I don't watch Doctor Who.
I thought the new Doctor was a woman though.
I mean, sure it is, but I don't know how old she is. I don't keep up with that show at all.
Me either.
What's her name? It's she's in Jumanji. She's Nebula in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I can't remember her name, and I didn't know she was even in that. I've only ever seen her as Nebula, so it's hard for me to think of her as cute.
Yeah, but it's her, Emilia Clarke.
Why do you keep saying Emilia?
I swear that's what I've heard her say. Her name
is. It could be the accent. I don't know. On paper, it looks like Amelia, but Emilia.
I mean, I guess so. Maybe it's the one interview I watched where they were all, and I was like listening because there was, I can't think of it now. Jamie Lannister's name is kind of interesting for his last part of his last name, so I was kind of interested in how that pronounced. And I heard Emilia, and I'm like, okay, and then it just stuck. But I don't have any weird ones.
I was listening to Ricky Gervais on something, and
Gervais. See, now you're weird.
See, that is one of those things where I think to me it just looks so much like Gervais, because I don't know. AIS would not normally be pronounced, I feel like, but our language is so stupid. It's hard to say. But anyway, he says controversy.
Instead of controversy?
Yes.
It's like aluminium for Australian people.
It weirded me out, but I got used to it after a little while. Okay, that's all on that one.
Let me scooch up
to this next one.
I'm really trying to think of like an embarrassing or shameful crush. I don't think I have one.
Okay, these are going to be quicker. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This first one's not going to quite be there. What would be your perfect day plan from waking up to going to sleep?
I think I kind of answered this the last episode with the perfect date. Like almost it's like the same thing in a way. Like I would like to wake up around 7 a.m., typical wake up time, and go shopping, go out to eat. Then the date, I guess, is what we talked about last episode, where like I'd cook dinner and then we'd watch a movie or something.
Mine's a little different. My thing is like any day that I want to just really be a good day, I have to feel like I've accomplished something. And it's weird, like I hate yard work, but when I look at how much better the yard looks, it's like you feel like
you accomplished.
I did it.
I'm the same way with wasting time.
Like, did you see how much I painted and how much better it looks?
The sidewalk looks good too. It looks like you've cleaned, like you've hosed off the sidewalk. Or something.
I used a pressure spray on some of it. I got to finish it. But anyway, yeah. So looking at that stuff is like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, the paint looks good too.
Yeah. So I did that yesterday since we couldn't record yesterday. I was like, well, screw it, I'm gonna paint.
I had an earache yesterday. That's not fun.
Oh, you're fine. But anyway, that's part of it. So that has to be factored in. I'd want time with my daughter. Because one of the things that sucks is that I work all day. And it just gets to be one of those things where it's like, it's really hard to come home and her have so much energy and want to play. And for me to really want to push myself through to doing it. A perfect day would involve me having the energy to do these things without having to push myself to do it.
Sounds like you need to start drinking coffee.
Well, it's not that. It's like physically I'm sore. It's not that I'm tired. It's that she wants me to run around and do all these physical things.
That's kind of
and it gets hard to do. So yeah, I think that's part of it. So it would involve with me waking up whenever I kind of want to, without being too late. So I'd say around like 9ish, assuming I went to bed at a normal time. Wake up, eat breakfast at somewhere nice. You know what? Blueberry pancakes from not IHOP, no, from Cracker Barrel, which are delicious. Go there. Spend some time, go to the playground with Kyrie and our park and play with her for a little while. Come home, get some work done, whatever it be it music, doing the podcast or something that is, fun, or getting something done that needed to be done, like around the housework or something, to help me feel good about that. And then finish the day off watching a movie with my wife.
Yeah.
So, something small and relaxing and, it's the small things in life that matter. Good question.
All right, we're about to start Donovan's quickfire questions. Is that all we have for this one?
No, there's a couple more. You want to do those first? to where we kind of play this.
No, I want to do those last. But the reason I want to do those last is that when we start them, I want to charge it from my laptop so it's up and on Twitter and stuff by the time we end.
I got you. So we'll go ahead and do Josh's first.
I'm sure your laptop will be good by then.
Okay, so Josh has another one. Describe your perfect pizza. I'm so basic.
Cheese stuffed crust pepperoni.
Oh, dude. Very, very close. And the only thing is, that's probably it. But I go through these weird phases where my other thing is pretty much what I always order. It's either cheese stuffed crust pepperoni, which is essentially a perfect pizza. Yeah. But thin crust, what I also always get.
Yeah, thin crust
pepperoni, and Italian sausage. Yeah. It's so good.
It is too. And it's crazy that they both come from completely different pizza places.
They do.
Thin crust pepperoni sausage, Domino's, obviously, cheese stuffed crust pepperoni. Pizza Hut.
Exactly. I got it the other day.
Hard to like get, and you gotta get the Hut's favorite on the crust.
Oh yeah, man, that garlic butter and it's so good.
Just the herbs.
Have you done that where you dip it into their garlic butter dip? It's delicious.
I don't think they had garlic butter dip.
Yeah, they do now.
Is it better than Papa John's?
Yes. Okay. To me, it depends on.
Well, it became a cream at Papa John's. Actually, it used to be an oil.
Okay, that's cream. Maybe I haven't had it in that long then. Because
is it an oil?
Used to, it was like a buttery oil. No, it's more like a cream.
I don't care.
I could probably show it now. I threw it all away. It's not full on cream, but it's not full on oil like Papa John's used to have either. Like it's creamier.
Okay, because I can.
But it's got an oil.
It's easy to make garlic butter oil or cream.
Sure. But yeah, that's it for
garlic
me.
Butter,
I love it.
Dip.
Matt Hunt asks, steak sauce on your steak or no?
Yes.
For me,
very
I think,
little. Very little.
He says, for me, I think if a steak is cooked correctly, you shouldn't need steak sauce. Your thoughts?
Agreed. It's that tang of A1 that gets me.
That's exactly what it is for me.
I think. Go ahead.
If you get a steak cooked, anywhere, honestly, for me, anywhere from medium and below is fine.
Medium, not well, I guess, but yeah, I guess medium well and below is done. Like medium well is my place to go when I don't trust the restaurant cooking it.
I guess that's fair. I don't know. I guess I don't go to a restaurant if I don't trust them. I'm not going to get steak at a place.
I don't trust Texas Roadhouse.
I don't trust them to always do it the way I want, but I don't trust them I don't trust them for the meat to make me sick.
Do you remember that time that
I'm not going to go over it. When I go to Roadhouse, since I don't trust them.
Well, I said medium. The last time I got a medium there was pink. And I don't mean just a little bit of pink. I mean, it was.
See, normally they overcook if anything.
And then remember, I ate like 3 bites of it. I was in the bathroom like 10 minutes later.
I don't know, man. I eat there all the time, and I never had a problem.
Sure that steak you can eat it as raw as you want, but still bacteria is more present when it's more raw.
But also the biggest thing is, like Saul said, even when a steak is cooked perfectly, I will put like a dime size of A1 and just barely dip the steak because that
it doesn't need it.
That orange peel tang.
It doesn't
so
need
good.
it, but you don't eat A1 with anything else, so it's there to eat in that rare. No.
Did I not tell you about how if you're kind of like trying to do a poor man's steak and you're just needing something easy to cook, A1 was surprisingly good on pork chops.
Nope. For anything else, I make spicy. Like if it's like let's say if I want to make like hamburger patties, but I don't have any buns or whatever, and I'm trying to emulate like any kind of like sauce or whatever, or like if I'm trying to use the hamburger bun as a steak, basically.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna make either like some kind of spicy ketchup, or I'm gonna make what is it called? Why am I blanking here? Gravy.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let's see. Let me make sure. He has a couple more that are not quite. Oh, actually, some of them were quick fire. Some of them are just.
We're definitely going to take all of those as quick fire. When you.
That's fine. Top 5 greatest fears.
Heights, dark, waters. This can't be a quick fire question. Donovan knows not to be submitting all these questions in the dump. Or the link dump, or the question dump.
He did 24 comments in one post.
Donovan, we don't have a limited time, my man. Okay, so the dark depths of water, darkness, and I mean pitch blackness. I don't mean just like dark rooms at night. I mean for those that play Dark Souls 1, there's a place in there called the Abyss, and it's mandatory you have to go there. That's not the right finger for my fingerprint, but it's mandatory you have to go there, and it's you literally just drop down and it's nothing but black. Like you can't see anything, and it's just this void. It's nothingness, and that's scary. Which is why it goes into dark water, because it's like you get so far below you don't know what's down there. The fear of falling, and I don't mean that in terms of fear of heights because it's different.
Yeah, they are.
And then of course, arachnophobia.
Yeah, arachnophobia for sure. Fear of falling as well. I have no problem with heights, but. And really, that doesn't mean that just because I'm high up means I think I'm going to fall. But if for some reason I'm high up on something that doesn't feel like it's sturdy,
that pit sensation, like where you look down and like your balls tingle. Like, have you ever been like on a swing or something, you've been going like up and you're like, ooh,
yeah.
I don't know if girls have that kind of feeling, but guys definitely do.
This is a weird thing, but dying alone, I guess that's a weird thing, I guess. But I don't ever want to feel like I don't have people around me that.
I think honestly, I'd rather die alone.
Well, what I mean by that is dying with. Okay, think about it this way. The better way to word it is essentially, I don't want to die having for a long period of time no one else in my life. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get that then.
Yeah, like,
I thought you meant like.
No, I don't mean like I would be okay passing by myself because it'd be a lot easier on other people. I feel like. And I don't mean that in a. It's weird, you'll get some guilt for feeling like you weren't there, but also the memory that you have to kind of carry when you see someone die is very weird.
Yeah.
So it's it's like you could be doing them a favor, you could not, but that's definitely there. I can't really. I mean, I don't really have any other major fears. That's really pretty much them. Like, I'm not claustrophobic at all.
And my fear of heights stems from what Brett said, like where it's uncontrollable heights. It's like I'm high up and I don't feel safe.
See, I tell you,
I could be up on a ladder and be like, oh, that's I'm 10 foot up. I don't care about that.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want to be up on like a ledge or something and like there's no safety around me. I'm like, that's terrifying. Which falls into the fear of falling, but just looking at it is uneasy for me.
Yeah, sure. One thing I want to figure out about your thing real quick, and it ties into you're talking about the to an extent the depths of water, and you also said something about pitch blackness. So would you not be willing to try a float tank? And the reason I say that is because I'm not scared of dark because
that's different because that's controlled.
It is. I guess that's fair. Yeah. But when you're in, well, okay, it's a little weird. If you're in there long enough like you're supposed to be, which is an hour, when you do this,
I don't know if I want it then.
You get to this thing where your brain starts to forget where you are, even though it knew going into it.
I'm sure I have enough brain power to be like, yeah, this is getting creepy.
You'll go through this thing where like you start focusing on weird things and just like weirdly focusing on them. Then you'll start focusing on your breath because you can hear it and feel it in a very different way.
My thing is though is that I still think under there, like even though my brain is trying to convince me otherwise, I think I know that in the back of my brain, like this is still me. I can.
Well, they're pitch black and they're water, so I don't know if in your mind you'd put them together.
I can still get up and out if I wanted to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like Subnautica is terrifying because it's like underwater you're almost helpless because whatever's down there with you obviously has the advantage.
Yeah, sure.
And then of course the just
unless you got that Gat 9, boy.
Good luck getting that thing underwater. But my thing is
have it in the trash. I have it in a plastic Ziploc bag.
That doesn't work. But
it keeps it dry until that first shot.
The pressure though. That's because that's how deep far I'm going down. But yeah, like float tanks are still controlled. Like there's nothing in a float tank that's gonna get me.
I think you should do it. It's really weird.
No, I want to do it. I'm not scared to do it, or I'm not dissuaded to do it.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, like the Abyss and Dark Souls, I don't like it.
All right, what are your comfort games or shows?
Dark Souls.
Easy for me. Comfort game at this point has essentially become Destiny, but for the longest time, I want to say Kingdom Hearts 1. It's a game that I just feel like I love going back to and have no problems with it. So that's definitely there. I'm going to really give that my comfort game and show How I Met Your Mother. But I know that you already knew that, and a lot of you already did.
Yeah, Dark Souls 1 and 3 for me for sure, because it gives me something to think about that keeps my mind off of things, which I've been actually playing it a lot lately, and it helps me keep anxiety and stuff at bay. Destiny doesn't let me do that as often because there's often times in Destiny like where there's downtime where like I can then think about things.
Sure.
Dark Souls is always me min-maxing stats and numbers, and I'm a very, very analytical person when it comes to those games. So I'm trying to min-max my character the best I possibly can. And I would say in terms of nostalgia though, Kingdom Hearts 2. That works out well.
Yeah,
and in terms of a TV show, probably The Office.
I'm a little surprised you didn't say Scrubs.
No, because then Scrubs, like, there's not comfort. I don't think there's an uncomforting episode of Office. There is uncomforting episodes of Scrubs.
There definitely is. All right. What is your favorite thing you own?
I don't know.
My TV. Dude, It has made me such a believer. I had that thing inside of me before. It's like, what if I get this TV and it's not all I thought it was going to be? And I was really, even when I bought it, I was like, I'm really taking a chance here. I love this TV.
Do you own a cat?
It's amazing. I almost said a joke of, according to the law, my wife, but you know what? No, I don't truly believe that. So,
well, like I guess if a pet counts, then definitely my cat. But if it doesn't count because technically it's a family member not owned, I'm gonna say my car, I guess, because it's just reliable. It's comforting to know that I have reliable transportation, and it's like it's really reliable.
I guess I don't view pets as something you own.
See, I don't
because
either, but I know
owning
some people do.
owning implies a weird layer. Like they're mine, but they're their own
in most
as well.
senses of the word. Like you can't be a pet owner if you live here, something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I just view animals as essentially like a life, and I don't really think that you own a life as much as it's like Kyrie's my daughter. I have ownership over the fact of who her father is, but I don't own her.
No,
I don't
we did away
determine
with that
exactly
a long
what she
time
does.
ago.
So
Can't own a human.
yeah, yeah,
did a long-
exactly.
yeah.
But I feel the same way about dogs.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What life accomplishment has made you most proud?
Living until I'm 28, I guess. Like I don't know. Like that's a weird like question because I'm not really like I'm proud of a lot of things I've done in my life, but I don't think there's one that stands out that it makes me the most proud.
There's gonna be two. I mean, for me, it's pretty easy. Becoming a father. Which
Yeah,
it was something I didn't really, you don't even know what it's going to be like until
Becoming
you
a
have
cat dad.
Yeah, there you go. But if I'm gonna separate it from that, and I'm just gonna say something outside of that that's in control of just me and my life, and not involved with anybody else. In the same, like Hannah had Kyrie, it's a little different. But like what we've done with this podcast is definitely one of it.
Yeah.
And then being and always being somebody who wanted to do music.
I'm thinking. Of
I listened to our CD today just because I do it every now and then to be like, I wonder if I still consider my own stuff good. And I'm always surprised. I'm like, hey, look at that.
I'm
proud of music.
I'm more thinking of like a singular moment that had an outcome.
I think this has an outcome, but it's not a singular moment. Yeah.
So that's a hard question. Yeah, I don't
know. Okay. Do you have any regrets? If so, what?
That's kind of a harder one too. Are these supposed to be quick fire though?
I don't know.
Because I'm taking a long time on these.
Do what you want with them, man. People like them long episodes.
I don't.
I know. We got stuff we got going on.
We have personal lives.
I mean, I like the long episodes.
I mean,
when we have time to do them.
Yeah, I do too.
This is close to the wire here.
When it allows, yeah. Like it's not because of that I feel bad. And like if we take too long on certain people's questions, we got to rush the others. And I don't like having to do that.
Yeah, I feel you.
But which is why I don't like it when people dump 24 questions that aren't quickfire questions, Donovan.
Throwing them shades at Donovan.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think there's any singular one moment that I regret the most.
Well, I don't think it's about the most, but is there just a regret that you can even think of? That it doesn't have to weigh out the other ones.
Read the question again.
Do you have any regrets? If so, what?
Oh,
well, I think everybody has regrets.
Everybody has regrets,
but they have to be. I get what you're saying. Like he's not necessarily asking for the most, important one to you.
I guess that's with with what regret is. It's like that's the one that's like, what do I regret them? Like, what would be the most?
You feel like that,
thing?
But I just think in general, what are some impactful things that have happened that you kind of regret doing or not doing?
Not taking a warehouse job at Leadwell when it was offered to me 4 years ago.
Yeah. Mine are a little different. I got one that I'm not going to say because it's just not. I don't know. It's a little too personal. But a different one is oddly enough coming full circle to what we were talking about, dying alone. I do have, like I said, this weird regret / guilt about not being there when Grandpa passed because they thought he was going to go the night before. So we all stayed up. I'd already been up since 7 o'clock that morning, and I stayed up all the way until 9 o'clock the following day in the morning. And then I took an hour nap because I just fell asleep literally there while we were kind of just sitting with him. And Grandpa didn't seem like he was as bad. So I was kind of like, I'm really tired. I've got some stuff I've got to run home to do and I need to sleep. So I came home and slept and he passed while I was sleeping. So I don't know. That's kind of one of them. It's weird, but I have plenty of regrets. But the thing about regrets that's weird is that you kind of end up where you are. Regardless, like I'm not going to say everything happens for a reason, but even with all the regrets I may have, I have my daughter, I have my wife, I have this house, I have a lot of stuff that I can be thankful for. And just because you regret something doesn't mean that it's infinite, that you have to regret it forever. Some things are changeable. Yeah,
regrets are something that made you who you are, or regrets are often thought of those in moments that made you who you currently are. And
are there opportunities to do something that you've always wanted to do?
Even if you currently have a regret in your life, that's something that you can then look forward to overcoming.
Yep. What are the funniest memories you can think of off the top of your head?
I don't know.
We got a couple. And they all revolve around friends because it's just an important thing, right? But funniest, there was a time where whenever we used to skateboard all the time, and it was me, Devin, and Josh. We were all hanging out. And what we used to do, Tyler lived down the road from us. So from Devin, we were all sitting out at Devin's, and we'd go to his house and mess with him while he was asleep and his brother and whatnot, or late at night. And we snuck out past curfew. We were out. And of course, we're teenagers, so we're dumb. I realized that I would hate if someone did this to me now. But hindsight's 2020. So, but the whole story as a whole is funny, and I learned a lot from it, and I've not done anything remotely similar since. I was probably 15, maybe 14. I don't even know. We went down to his house, and Devin peed on his porch directly in front of the door, and it was just a large puddle. And then we took a firecracker, like the little pop M80 things or whatever that is just a stick that are really loud, and we simultaneously lit and dropped one in his mailbox because he had one of the mailboxes that are on your front porch with a little flip lid on them. Dropped one in there and closed it. And
That's
then
a federal crime.
Oh, I know. I was a dumb kid. That's just how things go. And then there was a screen in the house that had a little rip in it right beside a window. So we lit one and slid it down in there simultaneously, or as close as possible. Then we ran across and you heard pow pow. But since it was a front porch, it sounded like gunshots. And everybody in the block came out. We hid in this gigantic tree that was one of those trees that goes all the way down to the ground. And the cops, of course, came because people called the cops. And we couldn't move because people would have known it was us at first. But people finally went inside. But the cops were in and they kind of came through. And we're sitting there. And one of them comes to the tree and shines their light in the tree, right? And we're all laying down on the far side of the tree, kind of like in the leaves. There's a lot of leaves, so we're kind of covered. We're all wearing dark clothes. It's hard to tell where we are anyway. They didn't see us, but the cop kind of shines his thing right there. He goes back, starts to roll up his window, and Josh looks at me and goes, "Dude, I'm scared." And I said, "Me too." And I don't know why. We got back to Devin's house, and that was just so funny for us. We were stupidly scared because we did something stupid, and we really deserved to get in trouble, but I'm thankful that I didn't. It could have messed my life up.
Yeah.
One other one real quick, though. It was, and I got to bring it up for Brandon because I can't believe I didn't think about it when we was talking about favorite memory at the old house. It's definitely one of them. It gets notable thing. The house out in the country that I lived in, when we used to do, we used to do joke rap with all of our friends getting together just because it was fun. It was stupid to make beats. It was fun to do. We'd write lyrics and go through, and all of our friends would come over and we'd do one song with one friend or multiple friends. And then one time Brandon came over to do one song, and he wrote out his lines, and he was just bad at rapping. So he was going through and trying to record his lines. And it gets to the part where his lyric was, and of course we were leaning into hip hop stuff at the time where it was all about what was popular. So it was money, bitches, and hoes and ridiculous stuff. So he goes to say, his lines should be, "I bust a nut with my testicles." But we tried like 30 times, and every time he would say, he'd get to that part, and it was like you couldn't record just that part. We had to record the whole line before it too. And he'd say, "I boast a node." And it got to the point where at the end of the night, we're all just like, "I boast a node with my testicles." Funny memory. I enjoyed it. Good times.
I think the closest thing I have is like a string of events that's coming to me. It's like what would be the funniest is we were at Starbucks in like 2010, I think. And it was me, my good buddy Joe, my good buddy Casey, and then my good buddy Jesse. And we were hanging out at Starbucks. Well, this guy starts walking around, and we're on the outside of Starbucks, like where the patio area is or whatever, that has the table and chairs.
I think I know this story.
Yeah, and this guy he comes walking around pacing, and this dude's already kind of making us nervous, and it's like 10 o'clock. Or no, it's closer to 11 because the Starbucks closes at 11 and they were getting close to closing. And dude comes up and talks to us, acts like he knows us from somewhere, acts like he's like our best friend. And we were kind of freaked out by the guy. So like we have this thing called, actually, you know what? I'm not going to say that on air because that's a friend secret. I'm not going to say. We have a code word to get everybody out of situations. And it's a very common word, but it's an acronym. And we can say it in an easy to say sentence, and we're like, okay, that means everybody who's currently here who heard that, we need to get up and go meet somewhere else. And we said that a couple times, and so we were also hanging out with a guy. I can't think of this guy's name, but he was like one of the people who were regularly at Starbucks, and he was thrown off by that. So I motioned to him like, just follow us, and we walked and got into my car and Joe's car, and then we drove to the movies. Well, apparently what turns out is why that he had to have been a meth head, and like dude was out of his mind. And the dude who we were hanging out with, that was one of our like Starbucks regular buddies or whatever, like we saw him only at Starbucks, and we hung out with him only at Starbucks.
Kind of like a workplace friend. You never,
in a way, yeah.
You're like the ones that you see and you're like, I really like him at work.
And he's like friends of other friends. Like we know him in a way. But he like had that dude's phone number, and like apparently that's why the guy was acting like he knew all of us. He just thought he knew all of us when he really knew this guy.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we were at the movies, which or we weren't at the movies. What am I thinking of? We were at Target, which is right down like a couple hundred yards away from our Starbucks. Maybe about 1,000 yards actually, but we were not too far from Starbucks, and we met back up, and we all got in Joe's car, and he was telling us about this guy and how he's creepy, and like how the dude he got his phone number thinking that he was a normal guy, then all of a sudden he became this real big creeper, and the guy starts playing pranks on him, and like so he called his cell phone, and the guy answers, want to know where we all went off to, that he wants to come hang out with us. For context, I'm like, in 2011, I was 20.
Yeah.
Or 2010, I was 20. Or 19. I'm pretty sure I was 20 at this point. This dude was like 47.
Okay.
And he looked homeless, and he was definitely a meth head, and he definitely was just trying to hang around us to either rob us or beg us for money or beg us for food or something. But the dude, and you know, normally if somebody's like,
maybe he was just lonely and wanted a friend. No.
Absolutely not. He wanted to rape us or something. I don't know what he wanted. The dude, I'm telling you, it's one of those people that like you see and you instinctively know this is not a good person. Like this is not somebody I can be around right now.
Instincts are weird, right? Because you're supposed to try and give everyone a chance, and for the most part, that's pretty easy. But there's certain people.
It's a natural warning signal going off in your head, like get away from this guy. This guy's dangerous. Turns out he really was dangerous. And that's a little side entry to that, but so like he calls him and he's like, where y'all at? And then he says, oh, we had to go, but we'll be back later. And that's, I'm gonna call him Josh because I don't remember his real name, but that's what Josh said. And I'm like, no, we're not going back there. What are you doing? And he was like, oh, I left my car there, because he jumped into my car. And I was like, well, you're right, but you tell him we'll be back, so that dude's gonna be waiting for us there, so he can't go get your car. And he was like, oh yeah, that's a dumb thing for me to have said. So then the guy calls him back, and the dude at this point, the crazy guy's screaming at Josh, talking about, you know, he needs to get here now, and that he told Josh he'd buy him Burger King, which is right across the street from Starbucks. Josh never said anything about Burger King to the guy, like we were all sitting there. And so the guy is just sitting there yelling at Josh, and Josh like hangs up on him. But then my friend Jesse has an idea and takes the guy's phone number, gives it to Joe, and of course this guy gets a phone call from a number he's never seen in his life. And Joe acts like he is an undercover CIA agent, or actually he didn't even use a like branch of government or anything.
He just said essentially, I'm a secret agent.
No, he said you're a sleeper agent. He didn't say what he was. Oh. He acted like it.
Yeah, I've got you.
He said you're a sleeper agent, and we need you to help us take down the man. And the guy immediately was on board. He's like, oh yes, I knew it. This is my day. And we were like, you need to go to the movies. And the movies is about a mile away from Starbucks. It's not far.
Yeah.
And so the guy was like, I got it. And the guy, he actually was riding a bike too. Guy gets on his bike, and it's pretty much a straight like ride in a sense to the movies, like on the back road of Target to our movies. It's very easy. And we actually saw him go by on the street up above where we were parked in Target, and we told him to call that number when he gets there. So he called him, and he was the most angriest person on the phone with Josh, but with Joe, he was normal, and he was just acting really crazy. He's like, I've seen the messages. I know where they're at. And it's like, what are you even talking about, dude? We're not talking. Like, we don't have no idea what this guy's talking or rambling on about. And then so we've pretty much cleared.
Why does Twitter look like this?
Oh, it updated. You're just in light mode. I thought you were trying to show me the picture on Twitter.
Why is everything on the side?
It's been updated like that for a while now.
It doesn't show like that on my work computer.
That's weird.
Yeah,
But
that's weird.
but anyway, so the long story short, it's like we make this guy go on a scavenger hunt so we can make sure that the area is clear to get back to my friend's car, or this guy's car, Josh's car. And the guy, like, we tell him to go over to the dealership across the street to get codes from underneath the car. And the dude, you eventually saw him over there, and like he was just looking under cars. And it was, in hindsight, like 8 years later, that's a pretty shitty thing to do to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really funny.
Again, we're dumb kids.
Yeah, it was like really funny when we did it. That dude was over there crouching under a car. Probably got the police called on him because he's being creepy.
And you're worried about your safety. Those are two things.
That was the main thing. But then they decided to keep going, like with everything,
because you realize that he's doing everything you ask him to do.
Well, he's seen the messages. Don't know what messages he's seen, but he's seen them. Dude was out of his mind and very scary to be around. He was also massive. This dude was probably 6'4", 6'5", and probably weighed about 280 pounds.
Like just
dude,
like jacked or fat?
Jacked. Like, and that's why, like, when I first saw him and the way he was acting, when he came over to me, he's like, "Man, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been doing?" And he did like that hand slap, like handshaking away. The second he hit my hand, it hurt. And I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Feel it like reverberate through your arm, like ah.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know who this is. And this dude is like very needy. He's very shouty. And he's big, and there's no way that us could take him if he decided to hurt us. We were not enough people to hurt this man.
Okay,
but
there you go. That was a long story, so
you did a long story too.
You're right. If you could be friends with any celebrity, who would it be? Time.
Emilia Clarke. We haven't gotten to Twitter yet, and we're an hour.
I know. This is a weird question. Who? I'd want it to be somebody cool. Bill Murray.
Tom Hanks. Oh, you missed your shot. Go ahead.
Tom Hanks would be cool, actually. Damn, I did miss my shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. What was your last dream you can remember about?
I don't remember dreams.
Oh, dude.
It's very rare that I remember a dream.
Okay, so I was on medicine for a little bit, and I normally don't remember dreams at all. And then when I do, they're very just normal, lifey. But, dude, I had like a weird week-long, and this has been months ago. I can't remember what kind of medicine I was on or what it was for. But every day I woke up, it was a sex dream. And I was like, what is going on here? I don't normally have dreams, and I hear all these dreams I'm having. And they're all very specific about what they're about. I don't know. I didn't like it. I'm not going to go into details about sex dreams. I don't know what... I mean, there is definitely some kind of a science into what your dreams are trying to tell you, but it's probably because the medicine was having some kind of effect on my brain, which was leading my brain to be like, this is what you want to dream about.
I actually do remember one of the dreams I had last. It's been a while, but I remember that I was looking out my window at my apartment, and I saw two guys, and they were dressed like in really weird costumes. Could have been two girls. I don't know. They were dressed in like really weird costumes, and I don't remember, but I remember not liking them. Like, that's creepy. I remember one of them looked up at me, and they were like way far away, and they pointed a light, like a purple laser, I guess, but it was like a purple light at me, and I tensed up, and I felt like I was tensing up in real life. And then I saw another one pull out a gun in one hand, and I think a sword in another. And I like it's one of those weird dreams that like you think you remember more as time goes by.
But you don't know if it's like somehow your brain's conflating a different thing.
And then they started running towards my apartment, and I'm just like, well, I'm stuck here, can't move. I'm getting stung by a laser. I don't know what it was, but I don't remember what it was. I remember it was in the past like 2 weeks.
Who's your closest family member, Saul?
My wife.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird answer, but technically they are family. I'm gonna put it out of immediate family because that's obvious. But so
I guess my younger brother Seth at that point.
Okay, I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't know who you were closer with because
well, everybody else lives so far away.
That's true, but I mean, just because you can live right beside somebody and not be close to them at all. I'm not really close to my sister because I never talked to her. So I mean, realistically, probably my mom, which is a kind of odd, but yeah. I'm not gonna say it's odd. My mom's crazy, but for as crazy as she is, I mean, I still love her. Mm-hmm. All right. If you could eat only one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? This
Easy peasy pizza.
Dude, I don't know.
Pizza. No, for sure. Because you got to think about it.
Well, because it's options. You have options within the pizza.
You can get crunchy cracker pizza, aka thin crust pepperoni and sausage.
Yeah. Then you could get different sauce bases. You're like, I'm going to put
buffalo chicken ranch.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's a good.
Can't do that. You can't really do that with hamburgers, can you?
Well, no, you actually can do. You can go pretty crazy with hamburgers. It's like tacos. Both of these things, it's like you can make dinner tacos, breakfast tacos, brunch tacos.
But you can do everything you can with pizza. Then you can just roll it up and have a burrito.
I mean, that's true.
Can't make a
pizza. Pizza's not a bad one for sure. But honestly, I love burgers so much, and I never get tired of them that I probably have to land on burgers. I eat burgers more than I eat pizza. Now, there was a time period where that was not it was
pizza.
inverse.
Everybody knows I'm 90% pizza.
You are 90% pizza. The joke in one
I
of
had
the
pizza today for lunch, actually. Italian sausage and pepperoni from Domino's, since we had inventory today.
There you go. Next question. What movie has impacted you the most?
That's a hard one.
I feel like it's almost got to be a Tom Hanks movie, but there is one other
Shawshank Redemption, probably.
outlier. Probably going to be, realistically, Forrest Gump. It's a great movie.
Yeah, Shawshank Redemption is the same in my book. It's like
it's got so many life lessons you can learn in it.
Yeah,
So
and that's Shawshank Redemption's like it's very similar with the life lessons to me.
if you had 3 wishes, Saul, what would you wish for?
No, that's too long. We're gonna have to cut these off at some point because we're going too long.
I'm going to answer with a song
It's
by
not-
Don Broco, and it's a lyric, Money and Power and Fame. I'm kidding. There's not the thing I want, but you know what? It's 3.
Throw them in a Google Keep file. Donovan, you're cut off. We're putting you in timeout
Look,
because we're not answering these with quick fire. We're wasting too much-
this one's on. Do you believe in aliens?
Yes.
Yes. It'd be stupid not to. I'm not going to say stupid. That's a hard word. It'd be foolish not to. If you could change one thing about America, what would it be?
Nope, that's not a quick fire question.
Political climate.
I don't like politics.
No,
So
political climate.
I know.
I would want that to change because even if you don't like it, it bleeds into everybody's life right now because it's so hard to avoid.
yeah.
So that's my answer. Now let's see. We're going to do another one. This one's easy. What's your favorite dessert?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
That's
What
super easy.
is?
I didn't have to think about that.
What's one thing you would change about yourself?
That's not a quick fire question.
Hairline.
I
Bring
don't
my
know.
sweet, awesome
Posture.
hair back.
I need to work on my posture more.
Most hated chore.
I say as I'm leaning back in dishes. As I say I'm leaning back in a chair.
Most hated chore.
Dishes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got you. Mowing the yard, doing any kind of yard
Oh, I
work.
love yard work.
Did you ever get down with the sickness?
Ooh,
My mother got up and I got down with the sickness. So, did you ever feel the pulse of the maggots, or were you more of a freak on a leash?
The pulse of the maggots because corn's terrible.
You hurt me. Don't get me wrong. Slipknot's better, but you hurt me.
Yep.
Korn has got some great albums. So, Pulse of the Maggots and Mr. Chad Van Horn. You know what? He's still a patron in my mind.
Ooh.
He gave us way more money than even our highest tier. So, me and Saul talked about it. You're just an honorary
Was that Chad's
patron.
question?
No, Chad just said Pulse of the Maggots always.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
there you go. Shout out,
Thank you,
Chad.
Chad.
Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Hope to play some Overwatch with you soon.
Let me scroll up and make sure that there's not anything else. I think there might be a couple more. Don't want to miss anybody out just in case.
Well, I felt like I've also said on the show too with Donovan, it's like he knows that we may have to store them.
Yeah, he does. All right, and last ones from Facebook. There's 2 of them. Both of them from Josh Ayers. He says, do the 2 billion gamers Xbox talk about exist, or is it a fluff number? They exist.
They definitely exist, yeah. 100%.
Here's the thing. You got to think about it in the light of there has to be something where you have to understand what a gamer is. And I might
Anybody
even say
who owns a
potential
console.
gamers. And I'm going to stay outside of consoles, right? You can talk about consoles and how many millions and consoles, really billions of consoles that have sold at this point in time. But you got to look at it past that. PlayStation alone has sold over 500 million consoles themselves, right? So it's not that crazy of a stretch to think across all the Nintendos, all the Segas, all the Microsofts sold, and then all the weird outliers past that, like the Game Boy selling so much and the DS. When you look at all that, it gets crazy. It's obvious to think that, in all honesty, there are probably a cumulative 2 billion gamers. But realistically, as much as a lot of people want to, there really is a true gaming market on phones. There are phone games that are still video games that aren't normally what you'd expect and think about in terms of a gamer, but they still fit. But even past that, there are people that play games on their phones more than one time a day, and I'm going to say that does make them gamers. They may be in a different staging of gaming than we are, but that doesn't make them not gamers. So yeah, there is a potential market of 2 billion gamers out there that if you can find a way to reach them, that market does exist.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think about all the Xbox originals, Xbox 360s, Xbox Ones, and then, of course, technically, if you...
Well, and streaming opens that up wide
That's
because
what I was
that's
gonna say.
all phone.
Well-
So even if you wanted to say 2 billion gamers that Xbox could tap into, once they launch Project X Cloud, yeah, that's totally
Yeah.
feasible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Josh Ayers says, what hairstyle do you use on created characters?
The same hairstyle as mine when it applies, but it doesn't ever apply because this is a hipster hairstyle, so who knows? Actually getting it cut tomorrow with a beard trim. I can't wait.
98% of the time, I just use whatever created character is literally there because half the time it doesn't matter to me. You put armor on them and stuff.
It depends on the game, too. Like, if it's like an anime-based game, I'm definitely going to anime hairstyle.
Bloodborne.
That's not an anime game.
Even when I did, well, yeah, but it's just a Japanese based game that, I mean, but even like the Code Vein beta. I didn't make my character. I didn't care. It's a waste of my time, in my opinion.
I guess so.
And I would honestly, that's my stance on created characters. I don't care for them. I would rather play as a written character with a real story and a real name that doesn't change and is not subject to whether you're a boy or a girl or whether you have this type of voice or this type of voice, or maybe you put a scar in your character, but the story can't do anything about that because it'd be impossible for them to account for whether you have a scar there and then try and formulate a backstory as to why you have that scar or what importance it has. Those are things that I just care more about. Give me a character that you made and tell me why that character should matter to me. That's my thing. That's it for Facebook.
Twitter, we do have one that I do want to get out of the way right now and say that we will not be answering on this show because this is actually something that I want to talk about here soon as a main topic of the show. No, that could work too, but I want to, I don't want to put two of these questions back because these are two, that is a legitimate topic I want to see us talk about. Yes. And I'll go ahead and say the question, but it is our good buddy, Sean Neo on Twitter. And he says, why haven't we seen the return of some iconic franchises that would be suitable for PSVR, especially Sony themselves? And he goes on to list,
a multitude of games.
Yeah, games like MotorStorm, Resistance, Killzone, GTA, Silent Hill, stuff like that. So that is something I want to talk about more and more soon. Actually, that might be this week's topic, but I really want to wait until I order my Oculus Quest, which I will be ordering sometime.
So you can really have a better understanding
of VR and
stuff.
Yes. But you know what, Sean Neo, you gave us two good topics. I'm going to put this one in there too. So we won't answer this one either. But you said, do you think Sony will make a slimmer PS4/PS4 Pro at some point? That's actually a topic that I was thinking about doing sooner rather than later. Like we said, toward the end of this generation cycle and the beginning of PS5, there's going to be less and less news about this generation and more news about next.
And speculation about
And this is what I wanted to do because it always makes me think of makes me think back to when I owned the sliding PS3, the sliding top, and that was their fourth technical iteration.
Okay, yeah.
And we've only seen three, so that actually, you know what, Sean?
Well, it was their third iteration.
No.
Well, I know what you mean now, but yeah,
because technically, Model 1 had two different versions.
But not really. I mean, yeah, but
it
also no, it's not
non-backwards compatibility.
But it's not really a form factor change. You know what I mean? So
I guess
hard to say.
I guess so. But
you are right, technically.
But Sean Neo, I'll actually go ahead and say, unless some breaking news comes out about PS5, Sean, you will see the slimmer PS4 Pro topic this week. We'll do that as this week's topic. And then you'll see PSVR topic. And I'm actually going to be sure I put this in Google Keep since this will be a little bit down the road. But I want to make sure I want to get some experience in with Oculus Quest. So at least I can have a good standpoint on a VR question.
Yeah, I think you'll understand, Sean. He's also one of our patrons. So thank you, good sir.
Yes, thank you.
His
always good Twitter talk.
Other question, one of which we will answer, is if you woke up as the opposite sex, how would you spend your day? While Saul's doing that, I'll go ahead and take the reins on this one. This is going to sound, I think a lot of people go towards the immediate joke answer of like, essentially like pleasure yourself and whatnot. And I know a lot of people say it jokingly, but realistically, I land on the side of I would try and spend my day as much as possible understanding what it's like to be a woman. And this sounds crazy. I would really hope that if I did that, somehow that I would be on my period. If it's only for one day, let's just say that that's what it is. I would want to understand what it's like to be on a period and feel yourself thinking one thing, but then also feel this wave of hormones trying to make you think a different way, and which of the two ends up coming out and how well you can control it. That's something that I think is interesting. And I would use it as an opportunity to understand the opposite sex better so that whenever I go back to being a man in this particular situation, if that happens, that I can be a little more...
I hope it happens. He says for a day.
Thoughtful. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, he said, actually, he just said, if you woke up as the opposite sex, how would you spend your day? He doesn't say it's only for one day.
Your day.
But I'm pretty sure that's what he means.
I actually agree with Brett on that one. I do think that it is important to at least understand how they feel, because typically we can't.
Yeah, sure. Or at
even
least,
though there is like a theory / like almost confirmed thing, like where once a month even guys get like a mood swing, like for about a week they're just not in the
well, definitely when you're around women who have it's almost like a sympathy period.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because I definitely have gone through those before.
And it's hard to say whether it's your hormones trying to do something to stay in line with theirs, or if it's because
Well, it's
you're
not
a
even-
little more on edge because they're on edge.
Not
And,
even-
like it ends up being that y'all are feeding off each other's
Not
energy.
even that though. I'm just talking about weeks where I'm in a funk for no reason. Like I can literally think like, hey, I got this going for me. I got this going for me. I'm excited for this, but I just don't feel like doing anything. I'm not in a good mood.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting
He
one.
also asked, "Where's your bottle cap challenge video?" I got big feet. I can't do that video.
I'm not very flexible. I can't
house
even
down.
I can't even lift my leg like that and spin around and kick. It won't happen.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude, I'm not flexible at all.
Okay.
I very, very much mean that. I'm not flexible.
If I could come up with a creative, funny idea, you'll get your video.
Matt Green, another patron, says, "Why
Thank
do
you, Matt.
Americans call football soccer?"
Because you kick it with your foot.
Listen.
I have no answer for this one.
Well, okay, so what? Is it because you wear socks? But you wear shoes when you're on soccer, so where the fuck did the word soccer come from? I'm sorry for the language, but you know what? This demands it. Where does the term soccer even come from? Does it mean anything? Does it even have an origin? Like,
trying to figure out if Brett knows or not. I was talking about soccer, but nope.
well, he said, why is football called soccer in America?
It was a joke because I said you kick it with your foot.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Kickoff, Super Bowl.
It doesn't turn to the point.
Sports.
Hold up, look. Let's see if this comes in. The origin of the word soccer. We're going to do
comes
some
from
learning.
Socrates, who came up with kicking a stone as your foot. You think I'm joking?
I think you're. No, as soon as you said it, I remember someone telling me this. But this also sounds like the shit where people are like, "Do you know why it's called Cinco de Mayo? It's because there was a boat carrying mayonnaise from Mexico and it sunk on. You know."
Why was there mayonnaise in Mexico?
Oh, it was because they were shipping mayonnaise either from or to,
they don't want
it was
that.
to Mexico.
They don't want that shit. They have sour cream. That's their mayonnaise.
That's true.
Kiki will say yes to me on that one.
You should know that it was the British that invented the word soccer.
Oh.
And it was also one of the first names of what we now primarily know as football. In fact, in the early days of sport, among the other upper echelons of British society, the proper term for the sport was soccer. Not only that, but the sport being referred to as soccer preceded the first recorded instant of it being called by the singular word football by about 18 years.
So it technically is.
With the latter happening when it became more popular with middle and lower class. So people who were a little less educated at the time, instead of calling it soccer and thinking of a word like that, they look at a more immediate like football. Which leads us to the question of why the hell did Americans call football that we call football? I don't even know what you call it anywhere else. But what we call football, where it's primarily throws, the only time you even kick the ball is when you're in the kicking zone, and you can really choose to kick at any time, but it doesn't happen very often.
Why is kickball not called football?
Because it came later. I can almost guarantee you, because kickball is essentially a bastardized version of soccer. I mean, of baseball. It's like baseball
it's literally the same thing,
with a ball that you kick.
Yeah.
So it would just be that soccer, as we call it, but football beat it by precedence. So what are you going to call it? Kickball. And you kick the shit out of the ball. You can do it in soccer, but soccer is also a good mix of dribbling and going down and doing small movements and chip shots. Why is it called cricket? These are questions. Look, I don't know why America decided to be different from everyone else. Maybe it's because the first people who were able to come over here were considered of the upper echelon, so they always called it soccer. So when it caught on here, it never ended up being that thing where it was able to be changed by the poor around here. I mean, obviously there's always been poor people around here, but I think
how long ago was this done?
Who knows? In the 1860s, as in most of history, with records as far back as 1004 BC, there were quite a lot of football sports in existence being played popularly throughout the world and, of course, England.
1860s.
Many of these sports had similar rules, and eventually on October 26, 1863, a group of teams in England decided to get together and create a standard set of rules which would be used all of their matches.
Well, the reason
it was called soccer before, definitely, and it was still called football by some of the more poor people. And then when they go through, and even middle class, so essentially just people who would have been less educated, definitely in a time period where education was a little bit more of a premium than now in a time period.
And back then too, it wasn't uncommon for people from Europe to migrate to where we currently live.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. And you would think it would be the people with more money in the earlier days.
Well, also soccer/football came out in Spain. Like that's where that term originated from.
I don't know. I don't want to
Somebody
get too
correct me
much.
if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Like,
I mean, obviously, it's huge in Spain. I don't know where it started. It could be.
I think that's where it caught on. It started, obviously, where we're talking about.
Yeah, sure.
Last question is once again Matt Green, and it's actually a really, really good question. He says, does your town have any folklore in your town/city?
We are city.
2 pretty significant ones.
I think we're on the same page.
There's only 2.
I mean, it just depends on what you really say. But it's safe to say there's 2 that everyone here would agree for 100%.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, there's a horror movie that's been remade 3 times now, I believe.
No, it's only been remade once.
Well, it's been made 3 times, I think.
No, it's been made the original that was made by a Texarkana filmmaker who went on to be famous.
And then it was remade just recently?
And then it was just remade recently.
I thought there's 3 iterations of this movie.
Don't think so.
The
movie is called The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Well, first of all, the movie is called that, but like that's actually what this town is called, is The Town That Dreaded Sundown.
Well, and it was in reference to the events that inspired the movie.
Yes, like it happened in 1970s where
Nope.
1960s?
Nope.
1950s?
Earlier. It was in the 40s or 50s.
No, it wasn't.
Look, hold on. The Phantom Killer, Texarkana. So anyway, if you want to look this stuff up, it happened throughout February 22nd, 1946 to May 3rd, 1946. The person was never apprehended, never seen.
Nah, that can't be right.
Dude, it's right.
I've been lied to.
My grandpa was alive during these things, and he was young.
One of my teachers was not alive during one of these things, and he said he lived through it. He was born in like 53.
You got a liar of a teacher.
I do.
Was it Mr. Cole?
Who?
You didn't have him then.
I don't know who that is.
Anyway, yeah, no, I knew it was early because Grandpa was very young.
So
Grandpa said he was 19 or 20, and that actually is perfect. Grandpa was born in 26.
It was
or 27.
It was a series of murders that happened throughout our city, and they never caught on him. There's a lot of like conspiracy theories on where he was, where he went, who he was, stuff like that. Dude like roped up a woman to a tree, then tied a knife to a trombone and like played the trombone. That actually happened. That was in the movie.
I don't remember that being actually real. I've looked at a lot of stuff on this. I don't think that one's real.
I'm pretty sure it was. Like that was in the movie, and unless this teacher lied about everything,
the teacher probably lied about everything.
Because I know
what you're talking about.
I believe
but that
they
is
even
not
found the trombone with the knife still taped to it. Is what led next to the body, and that actually happened in Spring Lake Park. That was the murder that took place in Spring Lake Park. Was that one?
Well, okay, it's all a little different. I've actually recently looked into it again because it's all interesting.
I watched a documentary on it, but it's been so long, so I don't even remember the documentary. I just remember watching it. But yeah, you can definitely go look it up. There's a lot of stuff around this topic, and people even thought that this is the South's version of Jack the Ripper or the Zodiac. They think that there's a theory that the Zodiac and this person's the same person, that he just went to California after he did all this here, which
he never got caught.
So we don't know. But the other one is the Boogie Creek Monster. Bowie Creek Monster. What is that called? Boggy Creek Monster. It's essentially Sasquatch is all it is. It's nothing big.
It's essentially a southern take on Sasquatch.
It's not southern. I mean, it's just because it's here. But inherently, the story is...
that's true. But it's just our very specific version where they called him the Falk Monster. Falk is a city, a town that's...
very racist, unfortunately.
That's probably, 10 miles out from us, if even that?
12.
Yeah, so
13.
It was very close to where I used to live out in the country. I have some family that used to work in Falk. So weird thing, they lean into it heavily. They got a monster thing that you can go and there's a sign that you can see and kind of getting hit by him or whatever, or taken by him, or that you're seeing him or whatever, or be him. I think you put your face in one of them. They have Monster Mart, which literally exists just to be the Boggy Creek Monster. They made a movie about it as well. So, you know.
Yeah, and my thing is too is that the official story is that from New York there was a traveling carnival, which that actually has been proven that is a real thing that happened back in the day, and that was in the 70s. I remember this story. Actually, it was the 60s, late 60s to the 70s, and essentially what happened is that like something got free from the carnival, and it's essentially a very tall humanoid creature. And it wasn't covered in fur originally. And they said that over the course of it living here, it became covered in fur from not taking care of its mane. But it's essentially just Bigfoot. But it is kind of creepy the way it started out, supposedly. But yeah, thank you guys for the questions on Twitter. We're gonna go.
So here's where I think your brass instrument stuff is getting a little conflated, or either you just got lied to by somebody who didn't.
No, I got told that, so yeah. I know for sure.
So here's it is. Look,
at this point,
officers received a lead from Jerry Atkins, Booker's band leader, who stated that Betty, who is one of the victims, had carried a saxophone with her. Because no saxophone was found at the site, officers hoped that it would lead them to a suspect. On Saturday, April 27th, a man was arrested in Corpus Christi, Texas, for trying to sell a saxophone to a music store. They thought it might have been the same one. They just were looking for somebody who took her as like
he definitely lied to me. It sounds to me like he watched the movie
and thought it was entirely real
and acted like he was like, since we were students, he acted like he knew everything that happened, and he acted like it took place in his timeline when it didn't, or lifetime. But on to Discord, the last version here, we have our very first up question from Oathkeeper Kiki, our good buddy Kiki. He is a patron, and we thank our patrons. He says, if your favorite movie from the 80s was going to be remade, who would you want to star in it? And then he goes on to mention saying Alien would be his, and he wants Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Ripley. That's actually fantastic. That is a very good example, actually, or a very good casting choice for me. I would definitely pick that. I, on the other hand, have already had my favorite movie remade from the 80s, and it is paired with who I would have wanted to act the main part, but it was not a great movie. And that was when the Nightmare on Elm Street came out, and Jackie Earle Haley played Freddy Krueger. He played a really, really good Freddy Krueger. That movie was just not great at all. And that movie came out like 2013, I think.
Oh, yeah. I do. I remember
it's the guy
that.
from Watchmen who... Or you never watched Watchmen, did you?
No, I've watched Watchmen. Watchmen's great.
Yeah, he's Rorschach from
Well, the
Watchmen.
director's cut was great.
Yeah, they're all great. But he's Rorschach from Watchmen. And the original Friday the 13th is one of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yeah, and what's his name?
Jackie Earle Haley?
No, the original. It's something Bloom. Is that right?
Huh?
The original Freddy. Yeah. The original Freddy Krueger. What's the actor's name?
The actor's name. Like, what's his original name? It's not Bloom. It's and now you said that.
I'm trying to. Oh, Robert Englund.
Robert Englund. Yeah,
I should have remembered. I almost said it's England with ENGLUND.
Indeed. Yeah.
I actually really. I'm weird. Movies and games are very different. I think that remaking a game serves more of a purpose because you can actually really, really help from the limitations of what consoles could not allow you to do from a mechanical standpoint, from a gameplay smoother standpoint, or something you want to put in. That's because they're interactive. I do not care for movie remakes because I think that they're unnecessary. I would rather somebody take... Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say it wasn't good.
Did you see the trailer for the new one today?
No.
Oh, boy.
No, don't get me wrong. I will go see it. But also, it was never actually a full-on real movie. It was a TV movie.
It was a TV miniseries. It wasn't a movie. Yeah.
So
I think the total runtime for that was 4.5 hours.
Yeah. So anyway,
the entire series.
When you think about that, I still don't really. That's more of adapting something that wasn't a movie into a movie. It gives a little bit more. Yeah, and that was a book that was adapted into a miniseries, which was adapted into a
movie, which was then adapted into another movie.
Yeah,
which was adapted into a sequel instead of a miniseries.
Yeah, but anyway,
keep on going here.
I don't mind people doing that because that's just more of a readaptation to an extent of like bringing it to a thing that it never was. And I guess that kind of logic could be moved towards something like
more glasses.
Netflix's they're remaking Avatar: The Last Airbender with the original creators in live action. So it's better than the movie.
That's different. There's never been a good animated cartoon come to life in real life.
Oh, I completely agree, and I don't want that. But my bigger thing is, why do that? Why not just work with the creators who you like, and then just go, we want you to do something new and original with us? And I would prefer that. I'm getting real tired of seeing all these movie remakes. Very seldom do I actually feel like one of these movies need to be remade for some reason. I think animated movies being remade in the live action it completely takes away from the point of the timelessness of animation. I think animation's beautiful. One of the things I love so much about it is that definitely whenever they go through the process of bringing it to a Blu-ray and they work on it, you have movies like The Lion King, which look phenomenal today on Blu-ray. I mean, so good. There's a couple of older movies when Disney was doing bad and they were doing cheaper animation things to try and survive in their in-between. No, Aladdin's definitely not one of those. In
To
terms
me,
of,
it is. I do not like the animation in it.
You'd have to know what I'm talking about. It's from like the 50s and 60s of the time period. And you could look at some of these movies, and even in the 70s, like Black Cauldron's one of them. They used a lot of very cheap animation things because the movies weren't going to get made otherwise.
No.
It's just kind of how it worked. They had to do it to stay afloat until Disney could become what they are now. Disney are one of the biggest people who constantly go about remakes. I don't care for them. I want to see something done that I've not seen done before. Whether that be turning a show into a movie, that's fine. Turning a movie into a show, that's fine. I just want you to do something that is not the exact same thing as it was.
Well.
And I think that those are a waste of time. So
Brett's ankles hurt a little bit from being on his high horse and jumping off it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question.
It's because all those damn, those sweet cupcakes that you used to do. No, Trace's ankles used to hurt whenever he'd jump and land because he'd say, I'm pretty sure it's because Trace used to eat those Hostess cupcakes dual packs. He'd eat
First of all, those are disgusting.
3 dual packs of those a day when we were kids.
Those are disgusting. You got to get the right flavor. You get the orange ones. Those are good. Or the yellow ones. I don't know what the lemon and I guess
either way, it's just funny that you said that because Trace used to always be like, dude, I'm pretty sure my bones hurt because I eat all this sugar. I was like, I don't think that
Trace
logic
was not
holds
a bright
up.
person. Our good buddy Sean, aka Rude Cold, once again.
He's also a patron,
yeah. He says, is there any game from your childhood that you didn't get to play, whether it be that you couldn't afford it or is on another system that you didn't have, that you wish you can go back and play today? No, I don't really, and this sounds weird. I would have made the effort and done it already. As an adult. Like, if there's something in my childhood that I felt like I missed out on, and from a game perspective, I feel like as an adult now, I have the means to do it. And I would have done it. So I don't really regret not playing a game like that.
I don't know. I think some games can just get so far behind you that you lose the original interest you had that made you want to play it.
But then that's the question.
Yeah, I get it.
Is that you still want to go back and play it to this day?
Yeah. I get it, but there might be a situation where if the game comes back around somehow through a remaster or something, that interest gets piqued again and there's a right spot for you to put it in. I don't immediately have one. Excuse me, I don't immediately have one either, because I do kind of agree with Saul. In some extent, you're going to play the games that you always wanted to play somehow, some way. Sometimes you wait long enough, and even though you were going to play it, you end up getting lucky, and people who never played Shadow of the Colossus got to play what I would consider a better version of it with the remake that they did. Hard to say. It's a great question. I just think that part of what makes it so hard is internet and the ability for ROMs to be so easily shared. And it does. I mean, I would prefer to support games I want to play in an official capacity, but that's not always possible.
Yeah. Well, in very similar vein to his question, Josh actually says, Josh Shoop, he says, would you say that the age has changed you in a way that you do or that you enjoy / do not enjoy certain games now that you did / didn't when you were teenagers? That goes against not really as well. There's not really a subset of games that I've played in the past or the present that I wouldn't have played in retrospect.
Well, he says certain games, and I think to an extent he really is asking a little bit more about genre. And I've already kind of spoke on one of them a little bit, and that was that I used to love games like Planescape Torment and Neverwinter Nights, and I'd play them like crazy back in the day on the little crappy PC I had that could play them. But I don't know why. The last few times I've tried playing newer games that are supposedly supposed to be similar, they just don't catch me. And I don't know if it's because back then I didn't look at stories the same way as I do now. And those games have got good stories, but they also have very, very particular gameplay mechanics that I think in that age, I didn't pay attention to the story as much as I did the fun gameplay mechanics at the time for me. And I think some of those have been lost. Partially it's MMOs, and it's not that I don't enjoy them.
No time.
It's that I don't have the time to enjoy them the way I want, so they become frustrating, but I feel like I can't grind them enough.
Yeah, the only thing that would be similar to that for me would be fighting games, and that's not exactly because I lost interest in it. It's just because I haven't seen one that comes out that I really like. Smash was really good for a while, but Smash is always the same for me. And unless I have a very close group of friends constantly playing it, I can't stay on that game. Well, that's actually every fighting game.
That's how age changes too. I'll say fighting games too, but when I was young, I always had people to play fighting games with me. Now, since I play majority of the games by myself, fighting games, I don't want to play online. I want to play with you in the room beside me. That's when they're fun.
Even now, I was playing online with Cody and Corey, and then Sean and Blaze, when we always had our Discord, set up for when we did voice chats. It was really, really fun. But one, it gets kind of tedious, or not tedious, but it just gets boring playing against the same people.
Yeah.
And the lag does affect it. But I will say that actually added some longevity to the game. So
I could see that. I go back to just those are the games that really, really rely on interaction with other people are hard for me to continuously play and enjoy in longer spurts because I lean so much. Like I didn't even enjoy Smash Bros. Ultimate for a number of reasons. Some of them mechanically, but most of them were that at the time that Smash Bros. 4 hit, or whatever you want to call it, Smash Bros. Wii U.
Smash for you.
But when that hit, we were all at a point in time in our lives where we had a lot more free time. We could just all go to one person's house and sit for 8 hours playing Smash with no real issues. And that's just not as feasible anymore. And that comes down to age. Some of our friends grew up and they were younger than us, so their ability stopped. We grew up even more. I had kids, things like that started happening. It's like
I got a cat.
Yeah, exactly, a cat. But it's just, yeah, I think age does definitely change the way these things are, but hopefully not a lot for a lot of people. It'd be really sad for me to think about people who love the genre and then they just don't anymore because they got older. I don't feel like you should ever be able to legitimately grow out of anything to an extent, but I guess it's
Underwear.
possible. You got to go to them whitey tidies.
Josh, with a follow-up question, he says, I was working on a game review and I typically listen to music. In this scenario, I was listening to the little track of Dream Theater's
title track.
Yeah, you're right. Title track of Dream Theater's. I saw he was like being facetious, but no. Of Dream Theater's I can't ever say this properly on the first time. Octavarium, yeah. But my wife had made the statement that she didn't like it because she felt like the band's sole purpose is to be show-offs. How do you feel about statements like that? Do you think bands like Dream Theater, Dragon Force, etc. are only there to be a bunch of show-offs on their instruments? No. No band, to me, has ever given me that. I do feel like there have been instances with the way some songs were written that I can see that could be a possibility, but I won't say a band entirely. There is, and I hate to say this, and I have nothing against the actual genre because there's still bands in that genre that I really like, and especially older things, but Christian music is the worst when it comes to that, where they do the very standard, typical, very, very, first of all, very, I don't even know how to predictable riffs and stuff, and they just try to make their rock sound generic as possible lately. Now, I don't like think back to old Skillet versus new Skillet and how generic it is.
But I think is that a symptom of them being a band for too long, and eventually any artist is going to, if you're constantly riding, constantly on the road, constantly doing these things, you're going to tap your creativity you rotate people in and out.
I'm using their new stuff as an example, though, because
I know
how show-offy it is, or their older stuff is in comparison. Where it's
you just mean because it's better, so in your mind, the more complicated riffs are...
It's not complicated riffs, though, when you're comparing it to stuff like this, which is my point.
You said their older stuff was more show-offy?
Yes, compared to their newer stuff. Like, it seems like once you that's where you can kind of see a fine line, and when like a band changes in a sense, so they go from really show-offy, like let's say Dragon Force came out with an acoustic album that was slow. You're like, well, this is weird. What were they doing beforehand? I miss beforehand. You go back and you realize that it's not exactly show-offy. It's just what they're wanting to do. And then
that's what I was going to say. I don't think it's show-offy as much as I think people change and different stuff.
Right, but when you look at a band like Skillet, to me, where it feels like a lot of their audience is tamed, I guess, compared to like other audiences, because it's Christian rock, it's naturally more tamed of stuff like that.
People grow older, and when you're dealing with Christian stuff, Christian people tend to pull away from some of the hardships later in life if they're doing things right by the way. And
never tell your wife to listen to Polyphia, because that's one of my favorite bands
Polyphia.
Ever. I don't care what you say. That's one of my favorite bands ever. And
I heard an interview where they said Polyphia.
Once you pronounce something wrong the first time, you'll never pronounce it correctly.
Dude, Don Bronco. The second ago when I said Don Broco, I had to stop and say Broco. But yes, I know.
But yeah, once you say it wrong the first time, you say it wrong. But yeah, never show her Polyphia, because once you do, they are the ultimate come off as we're doing this to show off. They are legitimately some of the best guitar players I've ever seen.
They are, but here's my thing.
They're doing it for fun.
Here's my thing. I think that it'd be foolish to say there's not some level of being like, to an extent, you're showing off, because by having a great skill in anything and then exerting that great skill to where people can consume it, you are in some fashion showing off that you have an ability higher than others to be able to even get to this point where you can be in a band and do these things and play guitar at the level that you do.
Yeah.
So you are showing off to some extent, but I think it'd be weird and foolish to say that most of these bands are only doing it to be show-offs on their instruments. I think what it is that these are people who are master players of the instruments that they work on, and what they're trying to do is find the most interesting and artistic ways they can to take that skill and mold it into something that is not only skillful but tasteful. And I think that's what ends up happening a lot. Sometimes I think they lose the forest for the trees on that, but I don't think it was with the intention of doing these things. I think sometimes people look at it in a band like Dragon Force, they literally go, how can we make a song that's blazingly fast, still be interesting, and have people like it? And I think that even though I do think it could be seen easily as show-offy, I think it works. But going back to somebody like Buckethead or somebody like Polyphia, it tends to stand on the fact that they're taking really complex riffs and really complex guitar playing and finding really interesting ways to play with them. So be it Buckethead throwing in like masterful guitar playing and seeing how something as simple as like a kill switch being used in weird situations can make for such different sounding music for an artistic purpose and for fun. And then you go to Polyphia and you go, well, they're going to inject this level of, like, this album, they're going to be more electronic in the backing, and they're going to find ways to make their guitar playing, that is real guitar playing, bleed into that with not only style, skills, scales, but also sound effects. And how are they getting these sounds? I don't agree with the statement, but I think it's easy for people who are outside of the genres to land on that.
Who has the best facial hair in gaming? Another question from Josh. Me.
Geralt of Rivia.
Link from Zelda. With all bias when it comes to gaming, with all bias aside when it comes to gaming, what do you think is the best way to play a video game? This includes PC, PS, PlayStation, Nintendo, mobile, and Xbox.
I think that's the ending is a little too broad for me. I'm just going to go to PC, console, handheld,
yes,
phone.
Having that spectrum.
And I'm going to say, bias aside, this is when you really go into best way to play a video game. There's always going to be some level of subjectivity as to what best means, but I'm going to land on consoles across the board, and that's because of ease of use and the factor that most people can get in and play without any issues. PCs have too many barriers of entry from weird
Everybody
drivers.
always says that.
Well, no,
but
I really
do
mean that. And the reason I say that, I could give my mom has played, that's what I should say actually. My mom has turned on and played countless consoles for certain games she liked. My mom loved Crash Bandicoot. She turned on the PlayStation 1, knew how to do it because it's very simple, and then would play Crash Bandicoot.
I bet you can play on
she would
turn on a PC.
Thing. Yeah, well, no, but here's the thing. She turns on a PC. Then she has to figure out how to download the game. Definitely now, when we're away from disc, you have to figure out how to download the game. So you gotta understand Steam.
It's the same thing though. Is that like?
Hold on, let me get there. You have to understand Steam, which is not that bad.
But you're starting from step zero, where you're starting off with having a disc with Crash Bandicoot, which you have to tell them to go to GameStop. They have to figure out what game they want.
Yeah.
They have to figure
That's
out.
what I'm saying. There's comparable, but going to a store and buying a physical item is a lot easier for barrier of entry than it is for a large group of people. But it comes down to this: even people who know how to use technology enough to download things, because most people do know how to do that.
If you can't follow directions, if I say they're like, what,
but I don't mean that. How many times? And I've had this happen.
But
to me.
you're talking about somebody who's 50 versus somebody who's our age.
Yes.
If I said download Steam and download Destiny 2, you're gonna do that. It's
but I've got a perfect example of a time that brought up recently for you that goes exactly to what I'm talking about as to why consoles are just easier. When you're dealing, do you not remember the other day when you couldn't even get Destiny 2 to actually load on your computer?
Blizzard's a piece of shit with a launcher that sucks.
Yeah, but it was also because something happened and you could not understand what it was.
But that still can happen on PS4, and it has multiple times.
No, it can, but it's a lot less common. And the thing is,
it's a lot less common. That's the first time I ever saw it happen on PC.
Hold on. The reason it's a lot less common on consoles is something I always talk about. It's the same set of hardware across the board. The reason that things get weird on PCs is that there has to be drivers for everything. So a game will say, like I had it happen with Forza, you have to have this for this to play right. And if you don't even understand what that is, like on a console, you don't have to worry about that. The console just says, you need this, hit OK, and we'll download it.
But I think
a computer says, you need this, and you go, what the hell is that? I don't know what Microsoft X Framework 2.0 is.
Yeah, but it gives you a link to click on.
No.
Then if you can't Google what that is to download it, it's just that's a dumb argument.
It gets
to me.
complicated. It's not a dumb argument.
It's not
I think
complicated.
it's incredibly foolish to say that PCs are not just more complicated. They are.
No, I'm not saying that they're not more complicated, but they're not as complicated as you're making them out to be.
No, but they are complicated to the point where the lowest common denominator is not going to be able to figure them out as easily as they would a console or a handheld. But handhelds are so specific to a number of things, smaller screens, all these different things. Most people are going to be most at home and easy to understand on a console.
I bet you an 80-year-old couldn't even find the disk drive in a PS4.
No, probably not.
That's what you're comparing people who can't Google what drivers are. You're saying complicated as if complicated always just means more steps, just always means complicated.
If you're 80 and you don't understand technology at any point and you can't find a disk drive, you're not even going to know how to turn the computer on very likely.
Oh, but they do. They play a lot of solitaire, which
Dude,
PC gaming,
grandpa's 90,
checkmate.
Right?
And I bet you he played solitaire, didn't he?
Okay, but guess what?
Checkmate.
No, that game was installed on the computer already.
Right.
You can go to it easily.
Checkmate.
Okay, that's like saying that. Okay,
PC Master Race.
Then the easiest way to do it is go buy one of those games in a box where it's a joystick that has a TV thing that goes out to the TV and you plug it in, and as soon as you turn the channel on and hit the on switch,
would that be
playing
considered
a game.
A TV console?
I don't know,
or
but that beats PC if we're talking about ease of use. Then there you go, best way to play a game.
Judging with the way
the Pac-Man,
judging the way that this question is written, I'm gonna go ahead and just say like handheld is probably the easiest to get into. Then encompasses mobile to me. Like what you were talking about, how like
realistically, it's unfair to say. If we're going to say easy
but he said
phones,
best way to play a video game.
Yeah, best way to play though I still think is for most people console personally.
What is your best way?
No, he says bias aside. What do you think is the best way?
Bias aside. What do you think?
Console.
Okay.
Not because of me, for everyone else.
But it's what you
No, it's not. It's bias aside.
Yeah, because we have a PlayStation podcast. So if you say PlayStation, that's biased.
Okay, but if I'm being honest, the best place for me to play is PlayStation. That's a biased answer. The only way you can be unbiased is to look at how you think it affects everyone else to the majority.
I'm going to say PlayStation.
And the majority, it's going to be console.
Do you consider this a sandwich? And I put NO as the emoji to let you know I answered that question damn early because that is not a sandwich.
Technically, it's a sandwich.
No,
it's two pieces of bread with fillings in between.
It's a hot dog sandwich.
You'd have to see the picture, but it's essentially a sub it's a
burrito
cut in half, not a long ways, but
like you would normally cut bread,
and then put together like long end on long end with sandwich stuff between it.
Just imagine if you took two wieners and you hugged it between a piece of cheese vertically.
I want to say this: it's technically not a sandwich because in my mind, you still have to be able to fit the sandwich into your mouth, and it's literally impossible.
Not only that, but if you took a bite of it, you're getting bread. Therefore, it is a bread with a dessert in the middle.
Well, I mean, all sandwiches have bread. Kind of a prerequisite.
If you take a bite out of a sandwich,
yeah,
more than 5, judging by that bread, and you don't get meat, your sandwich is messed up.
But you could take a bite from the center of that. It's just
you would only get meat at that point.
No, you could definitely angle your mouth right there, get a little bit of bread, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of meat, a little bit of bread, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of meat.
Josh Shoop says, based on the last reader mail, the question about advertisements and all of that. He says, considering NBA sold so well with the cost of those advertisements being in the game, I want to take it a step further. How would you feel if games suddenly did become a lot cheaper, but because it was because of in-game advertisements? For example, Death Stranding comes out and it's only $39.99. However, it does not, or it comes with advertisements in the game. Maybe there's a way that you could buy out advertisements in the game.
Buy out of advertisements
in the game for $15 or $20. How about if there was an option for all games on sale that it knocks it down to a very cheap price, but those games there is a buyout? What? How about if that was an option for all games on sale so that it knocks it down to a very cheap price,
but it still has the option of a buyout? So you can get the game for $3. This is very tiny.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
You can get NBA for $3, and then when you go to start it up, it still gives you the option to pay $20 more to buy out of the advertisements.
That question, the answer for that's still going to be the same for me. No advertisements in video games. It's a very tricky thing.
I do agree, but honestly, if it was going to happen, that's the way to do it.
It's not going to happen. Options. If it does, I'll stop playing video games. Like I said last email.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'll quit playing video games as long as
I'll go to whatever platform doesn't have those games.
I already pay $60 for a game. If I can buy it for $40, and that's the only option that you can buy it in, but then in the game you can spend $20 more.
It's not going to be $20, or it would be $20 more for $40. Yeah.
There's one problem with this though.
But at that point, what's different from buying the game?
Hold on. Oh, I agree, but it gives people the option who don't have quite as much money who would be willing to take the ad to work. But hold on, here's the biggest thing, and it goes back into my biggest thing of why I don't agree with all digital future. This does not account for people. If this happened right now, this does not account for the people who just do not have any form of internet to connect their console. And how do you perform a buyout on a game that from the disc automatically has advertisements? You can't. You have to be, and now if that meant that if you bought the game physically, it always paid full price and there was no advertisements, but if you bought it digitally, there were advertisements, but it'd be cheaper, but you could buy it.
How would that work? Because you already own the license to the game. Would you just unlock advertisements, I guess?
It would essentially be like, it would essentially be a really, really weird version of on-disc DLC that you have to pay for.
Yeah, but my thing
because it'd be on the disc, but it's almost the inverse. It's on the disc, so the advertisements are there, but once you pay for it, you lock the advertisements to where you don't see them anymore. So it's the exact inverse of paying for on-disc DLC.
No.
Yeah. It's weird, but I mean, the biggest reason for me is
100% against that.
There's tons of markets that can't benefit from that because of the lack of.
And I don't care if you can't afford a game. This is not going to become a feature because of that. And if it does, then I'm done with video games. Atlas on Chain, another patron. Thank you. He says, you're fighting a big ass, fearsome as hell, fiercely intelligent, and evil to the core dragon. You're armed with a melee weapon of your choice and well versed in that said weapon school. What weapon do you choose, and what's your strategy for the fight? A dragon that is intelligent and fearsome.
Evil to the core.
Evil to the core, and he's badass and he's big. I don't know what weapon will kill him other than... Can you guess what it is?
The sword that they use to kill dragons?
No. No. I'm going to use a switch axe for Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Because I can switch it.
Yeah.
It's a sword and an axe.
Yeah, and it's your favorite thing about the Switch console that you can switch it? What if that was a sound that the hammer, like the switch axe made in Monster Hunter whenever you did it?
I wouldn't play that weapon, that's for sure, because that'd get annoying.
I have the right answer for this, and yes, I said right answer. This has already happened in a video game. I just want you to know that. Maleficent, when she's in her dragon form in Kingdom Hearts 1, she is big ass, she's fearsome, she's fiercely intelligent, and she's evil to the core. That's just Maleficent. You just described her. And you're armed with any melee weapon of your choice. He already had the Keyblade, and guess what? He knew everything he needed to know about it.
That's not switch axe. Can't make that sound effect.
Doesn't matter. I can't make the snap, but yes. Okay. Yeah, it'd be the Keyblade.
So Josh asked a really fun question. He says, let's see who knows the other friend better. He says, I will give a list of favorites, and you have to answer for each person. Each correct answer is worth 1 point. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. No cheating. Whoever loses has to buy the other guy's Wendy's the next time you go there. And then he says, based on Saul's pitless stomach, which is very true. I am very hungry right now. And
he said, I better win this one based off Saul's bottomless hunger pit.
Okay,
and that's
so
true.
Let's get the scoreboard going on here. I'm going to do it like this.
Okay.
So let's see who will win this. And obviously no cheating. So Brett, what is my favorite soda?
I really want to say one, but I'm going to stick with Dr. Pepper.
Nope.
Okay. Was it Mountain Dew?
Nope. Pepsi.
How did I not know that?
Yeah. Well. I know what yours is though. Dr. Pepper. Okay. So that's 1 point for me. I won this in the bag. Okay. What is my favorite candy bar?
Here's the problem with that. I'm way more picky. Now hold on. It's fine. The rules of the game are the rules of the game, but I'm way more picky, so it's easier for you to land on the thing that I like the most because I like it and then I just eat that.
That's the point about knowing somebody who's well and picky.
Damn it.
What's my favorite candy bar? This is pretty easy. I've said it multiple times.
Hershey's?
Fast break. I don't know why you didn't think of that.
I don't know.
Your favorite candy bar is Kit Kat.
Nope.
Okay, good. So we both know, neither one of us got a question there. Taco Bell item. This is easy. Easy. We've talked about this so many times.
I feel like yours is a steak quesadilla.
You got it.
Yeah.
So wait, what did we both get a point?
Huh? It says
each
correct answer is worth 1 point.
So you're up to 1.
So we're tied?
Yeah. Yours is 5-layer burrito?
No.
Okay.
It was for a long time though. You're very close.
TV show. What's my favorite TV show of all time?
The Office.
No. Breaking Bad. What?
I
do know this one though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and award myself a point for saying How I Met Your Mother. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw my 1 in there.
Hold on. No,
what? Is that not right?
It's not right, but there's one very particular reason. The only thing I'll say, anime counts in this, right?
I mean, like, technically it's a TV show.
Yeah, okay. Full Metal Alchemist is technically my favorite.
I'll give you that one.
Yeah. But Full Metal Alchemist is, like you talked about with Scrubs, it's harder to watch constantly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you can't end it and then immediately restart. You can.
This is a point for both of us. All right, what is my favorite movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
And yours is Forrest Gump.
That's pretty much true, yeah.
That's not pretty much true. That's fucking true. What is my favorite RPG?
Oh, this is actually a good one.
This is a good one.
Oblivion?
No.
What is it?
Come on.
I mean, it has to be an RPG, right?
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VI.
I mean, I guess technically that would be it. That wasn't what I had in my mind. It was Dark Souls, but okay.
Yeah, that is technically an RPG.
That is not technically an RPG. That is definitely an RPG.
I consider it to be an action RPG, but that's still an RPG, and that's not fair of me to break them out like that. So yeah, you're right.
Blueberry pancakes are still fucking pancakes. Yours is near the first one.
That's true.
Yeah, 3-2. I'm edging up. That doesn't sound right. Okay, now this is going to be a hard one for both of us.
It will be.
Maybe.
Well, no.
No, it's not.
Not for me.
Favorite actor, Brett's is Tom Hanks.
Yep.
I'm just going to go ahead and award me a point there. What's mine? You might actually get it. It's not hard. Think very simple of me.
I know I'm debating where I want to land on, you know?
Yeah.
I have a couple in my mind that I think could be it, but I'm scared. Let's see. Your favorite actor?
Very easy of a question. I have a lot, but there's one that reigns true above all of them.
Matt Damon.
Jim Carrey.
I almost said Jim Carrey.
I don't know. Okay.
The Matt Damon was more of a joke for me to be able to. I mean, I was going to throw that out there, but it was also a joke on.
I think we also both have. What is our favorite rock band?
Not South Park, but
favorite rock band of all time. I'm gonna guess Coheed for yours.
Man, rock band's weird because genres are really hard to suffice with.
But guitars and banging and drums. I'm gonna say Coheed.
Guitars, banging, and drums, and A Day to Remember. Coheed. I mean, I'll give you Coheed.
Okay. I'm not giving you Day to Remember because obviously Dance Gavin Dance is a rock band. I don't know how you did not say that.
They're genre bending. It's hard to say. That's why I said the question's hard because they're jazz one second and then hip hop the next.
I'm definitely not getting this correct, and I don't even know if you're gonna get this correct because I don't even know myself unless you just say an answer. I'm like, oh yeah, favorite hero from a video game. For you, I don't. Gestalt, what's his name?
His name is Nier.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Nier.
No,
see, I didn't think so. I didn't think he was your favorite hero.
He's not even really a hero. That's actually why I like the story so much.
Yeah, he's an anti-hero, isn't he?
He's
a gray. He's like a gray Jedi.
He's what I like. He is not a story character that exists only to be one pure. One of the biggest things I don't like about, and even though I know that there's reason, but one of the things I didn't care for about Luke Skywalker is that he's meant to just be this pure good, and that's boring.
Yeah.
You know, one of the great things about Anakin and his whole thing is that you see the tragedy of him being pure good, but then being manipulated into being pure bad, and you understand that he's not a binary person. It's like he has these moments in between everything and a redemption arc. Those are good things. Favorite hero from a video game. We're gonna have to go real lenient with this because I think it's really hard. I think it more often than not it has to be that it's somebody who ends with the game in a relatively good fashion.
Yeah.
Where at the end of it, most of the time things are good for them.
Right.
If I had to say your favorite hero, just because of history and everything across everything, I'm gonna say Link.
Yeah, I was over here doing the L like off.
I was gonna say Link anyway, just because of time. Do you have you guessed Nier for me, so no, that's not it.
Yeah, we're tied.
If I had to say probably my favorite hero in recent time, it is really hard. I'm gonna say Nathan Drake.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because the games tend to end with, even when bad things happen, the games end on a positive note.
I'm just gonna say the next one's a villain from a video game. I don't even know like what the villain is of Nier, the first one, so I'm not get like.
It's okay. Yeah, it's really hard to even describe.
Yeah, so I don't even know like. So obviously, I'm just gonna fold on that one. I want to see if you can get mine though.
Favorite villain,
and this is not going from a bad guy standpoint either. It's just going from nostalgia and the game.
Oh, okay. Wow, damn, that's because nostalgia gets really weird.
No, it gets really hard too.
Because in my mind, I'm like Ganon.
Nope.
But then in the other side, and that wasn't my guess.
I know.
But And then I'm thinking like I'm trying to think of the obvious ones for nostalgia purposes, but I also know that you think Kefka's a genuinely good bad guy. So in my mind, I want to use Kefka as an answer, but I don't think that's the one you're landing on.
Nope.
So that's the problem.
I wonder if these are supposed to be quickfire. He didn't say it.
I don't care. We're playing a game. We'll be done here in a minute. Villain from a video game. Jack of Blades.
Oh, from Fable. No, it was Skull Kid.
Okay.
So
yeah. You know what? I could have guessed that one.
Yeah, you could have easily guessed that one.
Yeah.
Our favorite gaming butt. That's easy for both of us. I think that's both a point. 2B.
Two booty.
Yeah, there we go. So we're both tied still 5-5.
Hair color in a woman. Colors gets weird, but I'm going to say that you like a good kind of like autumn auburn, like reddish brown.
I guess.
Colors are really hard to
reddish
name.
brown. Brown's technically the answer, so it's kind of
well. Okay, what I mean is brown with a little bit of an amber tint to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say black for yours. Yeah,
I'm gonna give it to you.
Big titty golf girlfriend. Okay, anyways, shoe brand. This is easy for both of us. Vans, I think, is both the answer.
Yeah,
so
true.
that's yeah, and I knew Brett was gonna guess that without a doubt.
This one's gonna be hard.
This is literally tie for tie.
Well, there's least favorite underneath it.
Oh, I know.
So we have another chance.
I know. Well, it's all the same points.
Yeah, it's true.
What's my favorite fruit?
Have we discussed this before?
I don't think we have. This is what I think.
That's what's weird about this.
Yeah.
I don't think you know mine, though. It's what's going to be weird.
Oh, I do.
You go ahead and answer
Oranges.
first. Nope.
Okay.
I hate oranges.
I know. I was going to say apple juice. Apple sauce.
That's not a fruit, but it's
It is
made from a fruit. Apples are high up there, but blueberries are my favorite fruit.
That makes sense. You said blueberry pancakes earlier.
Yeah, but apples are a close second, dude. I love apples.
What's mine?
Your favorite fruit?
Mm-hmm.
Does it happen to be in a...
it's not going to happen to be a
No,
hint.
does it happen to be in a cobbler form? Is it a fruit? Well, I guess all fruit can be
That's
made
a
in
hint.
cobbler. Okay.
Even me answering it the way I could answer it sometimes could be a hint. I don't know.
Favorite fruit?
Very easy.
Blackberry.
Peaches.
Okay.
Wrong. Our least favorite actor. I don't know if I have a least favorite actor.
You'd know mine if you'd ever paid attention to the countless times I've talked about it, but...
I honestly can't think of what you're talking about. You might as well go ahead and say it because I don't have a least favorite actor.
Okay, my least favorite actor, and I've gotten more calm in my older age. I don't like Tracy Morgan at all. I can't stand him.
He's more of a comedian.
I will go to. He's an actor though. I would go as far as to say for the longest time I thought I hated him just because there's, when someone comes on screen and the first time I ever saw him I didn't even know who he was. There was no pre-bias against him or anything. He was annoying to me the moment I already was annoyed by him before he opened his mouth, and that's been crazy. I've never had that happen until that.
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
It was like I just knew he was going to annoy me, and then he started talking, and I was like, I was fucking right. But I've eaved off on him. I just don't care to watch anything with him in it. I don't hate him. I wish him well.
Yeah, so that's not a point for either of us because I don't have a least favorite actor. I don't think.
Yeah, I can't really think of one. For that I could even imagine you talking about that I thought was bad. All right, least favorite video game. The Surge.
No.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's your favorite video game.
Yeah, apparently. Dang. My Name is Mayo?
Because I haven't played it, I don't want to say that that's it.
Because I can't think of what my actual answer would be. It's not The Surge.
It has to be a least favorite game. For me, I can't even say game's my least favorite unless I've at least turned it on and tried playing.
Oh, I know what that is then.
What is it?
I can't think of the name of it now. Shooty, futuristic, terrible game.
Shooty, futuristic, terrible game.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a name.
It's a beloved franchise.
To tell you that you're right.
It's a beloved franchise. Oh my gosh. What is it called?
What generation is it from?
This generation and then like 3 generations ago. I can't think of the surname.
Well, what's
Mankind Divided? What is it called?
Mankind. Oh, Deus Ex?
Deus Ex.
Oh, damn, boy. You ain't kidding.
Yeah, okay,
I did not care for that game at all.
Because it is Deus Ex Mankind Divided, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Oh, you know what? I'm going to give it to you. It's not just because I can't think of another game that I hate that much, you know?
Yeah, that game was bad. Didn't you give that to me? And then I think I traded it in.
Yes. All right. Your least favorite video game, because I never actually said one. I'm gonna throw something out there.
Oh, okay.
Your least favorite video game.
I'm just gonna do the mic right here. Yeah. Back hurts.
Or did I answer it? I don't think I did.
I mean, I think you said, wow, my brain has been mush with everything at work.
I could technically say the same game because you did not like it
Surge.
either. Oh, yeah. That was technically a joke, but I'll take it. It's been long enough now. Okay,
so what would you think it is, though?
Try to think of a game that you played this generation for sure.
You just did not like.
That you just 100% were like, nope on. And I know there's one that I just can't, like, it's not crossing, the name is not crossing my mind, but I so severely remember you being like, that game was trash.
It's not uncommon of me to say. We'll come back to it.
Yeah,
if you name a game that I actually really,
if I can think of it, then we'll bring it back. Otherwise, it'll be a tie on the fact that we don't know it.
We'll answer this one as a 1 because
genre's too hard. But
yeah, genre is way too hard.
Least favorite musical artist?
Nickelback. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke answer. I actually know Brett doesn't mind Nickelback.
I don't hate them.
Yeah,
I understand why they are joked on the way they are.
Man, Brett doesn't really hate a lot of bands as long as they're trying. I'm gonna say Evanescence because they don't try.
Nope. Okay. It's not Evanescence. And
what is it?
They're okay. It's the same that I was about to guess for you, ICP.
Actually, no, it's not ICP.
Is it Suicide Boys?
What is that?
Future, current day ICP for emo kids.
What?
Yeah, they all pop Xanax and drink cough
Well,
syrup.
it's funny you said emo kids because you should have said Broken Side.
Oh God, Broken Side is bad.
Yeah, we both. At least I've met juggalos that are nice. I've never met.
Least favorite food.
Nice.
Man, this sucks. Okay, hold on. I've gotten better recently, so it's not as easy as it once was for me to say least favorite food.
I could just name something disgusting that you've eaten before that I know you would say yes or no to. But at that point, it's like,
Least favorite food, Saul. Let's see.
Go for mine. I'm thinking for you.
Your least favorite food is
it's funny too because it's one thing.
For you?
Yes, this is such a hard question because it's so broad, but I literally have narrowed it down to one thing in my mind.
That you hate.
Yes, and we've joked about it countless times.
That makes it even weirder. I can't think of a time we were joking about you not liking food.
No, it's a specific thing. Like, obviously, because it's food, you got to name what it is. For you, I was just gonna say Papa John's pizza.
Nah, I can eat Papa John's.
Yeah,
I mean it's my least favorite Papa John's.
Do you want me to give it to you? Because I don't think you're gonna get it.
I'm not gonna guess it.
Outback's pork chops. You know what's funny? Them weren't pork chops.
Yep, they were not, but they
looked and tasted
should have
like
been pork chops.
Does the other guy snore? Yes, Brett snores.
No, I don't.
No, okay. Do I snore?
Yes.
Nope.
Until you started using nasal strips.
Nope.
Okay.
I'd never snore. I mean, I'm sure there's been a time where I'm like, I don't have it. No, Seth. Seth is snores. Loud. When I lived with him at the Lynx, if I muted everything in my room, I could hear him through the wall.
Oh yeah.
What is their biggest pet peeve in life? That's way too broad of a question.
I don't think so. I mean, I definitely have one. But yours, I'm going to tie into some of the things I've seen. Yours biggest pet peeve comes from people who come into a situation and are just 100% unprepared for it and then refuse to leave it.
Wait, what do you mean? You gotta be specific there because
it's a little broad in the sense of like if someone comes in your store who really shouldn't be there and then continuously bothers you even though you've told them what they need to do and just refuse to leave, it's one thing. No. But this is actually based around people who play video games online who come in from a position of power.
Are you good off the?
Destiny 2 is my example of people who come into a game
and they act like they know what they're doing and then they don't know what they're doing and then they get mad at you for not knowing what you're doing even though you do.
Yes.
Yours is going to be broadsidedness, where you not broadsidedness. What is it called? Somebody's so opinionated and that they are self-righteous in their opinions.
Oh yeah,
is that it?
Yeah, that's definitely it.
Okay. Ooh,
are we still tied?
We're still that tied us right there. I think. Hold on.
Good Lord.
2, 3, 4, 5.
This has been an interesting episode of Reader Mail.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm one up.
Okay. What do you think is the saddest form of entertainment ever made?
Movies for you?
No.
Okay, what's mine then?
I'm going to take this as the thing that can make you the most sad.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's the quality of the entertainment is sad. That would be the only other way to read the question I can think of.
Mm.
So something that I think can make you sad. I'm going to land on movies for you. I think that's right. No?
Books.
Okay.
There's something about like the anticipation of turning a book page when you're in the middle of it.
Games get a special shout out because they kind of combine everything, but there's something so weirdly pure about music that can make you sad in a crazy way where it's like, how did this collection of sounds just make me tear up?
What is their prized possession? A question he asked on Facebook that we've already answered this episode.
Damn.
We're not going to count that one. Let's just throw that one out because we both said our answers on that one. I guess the answer to this question would be yes or no. Would the other guy go back in time to change anything about their life? Which is also a thing that we answered. Wait, you never said what you thought was
What?
You said you would go back to it.
Oh, the game?
Yeah.
Nah, I still don't have anything.
You sure?
Yeah.
Think of a game that I hate more than anything. It's not hard. I thought about it in my head. Because this is technically the last question. So this is your chance at least tying us.
Well, there's one more. But there's a little bit more, actually.
There's not a little bit more?
Yeah. Through the 12th of July. It's fine. We'll move it through them quick.
No. I'm talking about for the contest.
Oh, yeah, I got you. Let's see.
Least favorite video game of all time.
And you've played it.
I played it.
Prey.
Which one?
The newest one. I mean, Prey 2018 or whatever it's called.
That's one of my least favorite video games. So that's too broad. Like I have so many that flew through my head, but that one stopped at the most current one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll not tie on that one then.
Okay, cool. Look at that. So hey, Saul, we'll both go to Wendy's one day and just buy each other.
We'll buy each other.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to get the most expensive Frosty of the year.
Super large Frosty. Okay, let's see. Now going back through, Josh gives us one more and says, Belle Delphine discuss. In case you do not know what he's talking about,
Delicious bathwater.
Belle Delphine is the girl who does the hentai faces. There's actually a word for it, but I can't pronounce it, so I just call them hentai faces.
Ahidago?
I don't know how to pronounce it.
I saw that and I was like, what is that? And then I Googled it. I'm like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, I just can't pronounce it, so I just call it the anime/hentai faces.
Ahigayo.
She sold her bathwater, as far as I can understand, to people, and it was called Gamer Girl Bathwater. You know what? I think it's ridiculous. I think anybody who bought it was ridiculous, but I'm going to land on this. Her doing it, as ridiculous as it may be, I have no problem, because if you can find a way to hustle in a really weird fucking way and make money from it, more power to you. As long as you aren't hurting anybody, and by the sheer act of you just selling someone your bathwater, you're not hurting them. Well, what they do with that bathwater is entirely up to them.
Well, yeah, I was going to say I found the subreddit for it. Of people actually doing things, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And I agree with what Brett said. Basically, she put a product out there, people bought it. She's not the idiot that people are.
Yep. Honestly, it might have been a joke to her. Like, I wonder if I can make stupid money selling my bathwater.
She probably knew she could, and I don't care. Get it, girl. Like,
now, there's probably more to that, because there's been some stuff about whether she's a good person or not, but I don't know enough about it to speak from
I have no idea.
Any form of authority.
I didn't even know this person existed until all this happened. And
Same.
I only knew it happened because of PewDiePie. Not because he bought the water, but because of his videos. Josh Ayer says, Phil Spencer is hailed as the Xbox's savior, or the savior of Xbox. Thoughts? Absolutely.
He is. And I know Josh sometimes I think disagrees with this, but I'm going to kind of give out my case, and I think Saul will agree very much so. For as much as I think a lot of people view Phil Spencer's decisions with the Xbox brand to have been at the detriment of it as a console manufacturer, I think that they have been at the benefit of it as a platform and as something that will stick around. I don't think if Phil Spencer wouldn't have come around and Don Matrick would have stayed up, I think Xbox would have continued to spiral down, and they wouldn't even be where they are now, not only in terms of console sales, but in terms of longevity. I think that this might have been the last Xbox generation had they kept Don Matrick the whole time. So in a lot of ways, yes, he is the savior of Xbox. You very likely wouldn't have continued to see Xbox without him, whether you agree with his business decisions or not.
Agreed 100%. He also is one of the best personalities to come out of any big corporation.
No, he's very nice, yeah.
He's actually seems to be genuine with his portrayal of his personality, unlike some other things that have happened with other people. Don Matrick, cough, cough. Last string of questions up for tonight. This has been a 2-hour and 12-minute episode. Hope you guys loved it. But Oathkeeper Kiki, I always mess up on that. Oathkeeper Kiki says, and I can't tell if this is meant to be quick fire, but ironically for me, it's all the same answer. Where do you guys see yourselves personally in 5 years?
You can go ahead and ask them all if you want to, because it's the same answer for you.
Yeah. Do you have any personal goals you're working at the moment? What made you set this personal goal? Where do I see myself in 5 years? A new job. Do I have any personal goals? Getting a new job. What made you set this goal? My current job.
So easy. Okay, so mine's a little more than his. Personally, in 5 years, I want to be at a place where I'm not being the primary form of stability for my family. Or if I am, I have more resources to do so in a better capacity. I'm very lucky to be where I'm at. Very lucky that you guys help us fund this show, and it's not such a strain on us financially as it once was. All. And that's awesome. We appreciate that so much, really.
Yes. You guys have no idea, but like how much of a relief that is.
Absolutely. So yeah, but outside of that, I want to say my biggest one is personally in 5 years, I want to be doing, it's similar to Saul's in one reason. I want to be doing a job, whatever it is. I want to be making money doing something that I love doing, not just something that I'm okay with doing because it pays the bills. That is essentially the goal that I'm working on at the moment. That's part of what this podcast is for us, not to become famous or rich or anything like that. If I can make enough money to support my family by doing these types of things, I'm happy. I don't need to be famous. Whoever it is, the small group of people who support us enough for that to be possible, I would be forever indebted and thankful to them, and not even feel like I won't even get a bloated head. It's not what it's about to me.
Yeah.
So it's about feeling like you've come to the point in life, like we talked about with the money, where you're getting to take control of your life and do something that's not easy. It's still hard work, but you enjoy every last second of doing it. So that's definitely that. And what made me set the personal goal? The feeling of watching other people go through their entire life, sometimes never working a job that they truly loved. And I think that that's kind of a really scary way to live your life. Some people are lucky. Some of the things that they're really passionate about are things that are great jobs and helpful to a lot of people. There are people that want to be nurses because they want to help people, and that's a great reason to do things. And that's a great job to get. It pays well. You get to do a lot of stuff with that. But not everybody is so blessed with that. So next up, Oathkeeper Kiki says, tuner boot on the Switch Lite. Thoughts on it?
100% by day one.
I'm gonna land on the 90%. I'm for it. The only thing is even as somebody who would probably not even use the feature at all, I think it's incredibly short-sighted to not use the docking feature, or at least find some way to let it send a signal to the TV. I think that completely nullifies the fact of what the Switch is supposed to be, and I think that if they were going to do this route, they probably should have just named it something different and said all Switch games will work on it in their handheld mode. All Switch games that support handheld mode will work on the system, but the system is not a Switch. But I know why they do it. They do it for market recognition, and they do it for a lot of reasons. I can't say that I blame them. I just think it's a weird step.
Yeah, and that was it, you guys. We are going to open up next week's Discord questions, at least, with one of Kiki's questions. And he drives a hard bargain with some platinum games. So We're going to definitely start off with that one, and we thank you guys. Kiki, I hope to see you later on tonight while playing Overwatch. It won't matter, though, because you'll hear this. Actually, you'll see this tomorrow, because I know you watch it, so you'll see this tomorrow, and you'll be like, hey, we played Overwatch last night.
Well, I think he normally listens to him now since he's early access, so you might hear this tonight, Kiki. Anyway, thank you all to all of our patrons. Everybody just takes a second to listen to this. This is a long episode, but it was fun, and I hope us trying to figure out each other's least favorite and most favorite things wasn't a drag. I thought it was fun.
I think this is the longest episode we've ever done. So
for Reader Mail, I think so.
I think it's the longest episode we've ever done, period. 2 hours and almost 20 minutes.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. A lot of stuff's been going on. Schedules have been weird. This should have gone up to patrons earlier, but we weren't able to record it until a day before it would have come out anyway. These things happen. We hope you guys understand. I know most of you do. We love you guys. But until next time, for normal Triangle Squared, we will see you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks to our patrons, Chad V, Dan Barber, Josh Jarrell, Matthew Green, my name is Dan, Douglas Below, Sean Santarud, Eric McAllister, Matt Sycamore, Shadowist, Stephen Salazar, The Stonard, Travis Below, Eduardo Palomino, Stefan Swanlin, Coy Live, Philip Laguerre, Corey Hickerson, Brian, Donovan Williams, William Digital Spooker, Derek Porter, Josh Ayers, Thomas McKinnis, Brandon Edwards, and Sean One Neo. If you would like to support the show in any shape or form, go to patreon.com/nartech and consider giving as little as $1 a month. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.